All right, we should be going live or live. Welcome everyone watching the video on demand. This is episode 183 of the Crystal Chronicles, your City Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded on January 13th, 2022. This is the pre-show, so hang around if you want to hear us chat, or feel free to jump ahead to the intro video. And you will start the show. We're talking about C90 Ultimate Weapons and Divine Ifrit today. Looking forward to it. Welcome, welcome, all and one. Or feel free. There we go. I'm just going to share this out on some of our friends. Things. That's how it goes. GRW18. How we doing? Xisis. How we doing? Good to see you both on YouTube and on Twitch, respectively. Good night. Love you. See you in the morning. No, they are not all Spider-Man. They are different things. Shadowheart, good evening. DK, missed ranting hour yesterday. Yes, the only Defo podcast. Lockin' okay, nice. K9 word, thank you for the subscription. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well and the family as well. Yin, Martyr, Anomander. Who else? Shaded Mystic. Good night. Love you. Have a good night.
Can I play the game tomorrow?
Potentially.
Because I always play the game.
Wumble Teat. How you doing? How you doing? Are you ready? Hey, Joey. What's everybody? Infamous Element, thank you for the subscription. What's people in the mood for a YouTube membership, super chat, sub campaign? I don't know. I think Mino's got everything. I'm only missing Sid, LD. I did 200 tickets and whiffed, so no Ultimate Weapons. Mino already spent his cores. I have not spent mine. Yeah, the cat needs to be upstairs, buddy. I know, she does not need to be involved in the podcast. Man, BC, no Billie Eilish. Eilish. Man, the freaking queen. Hey, welcome to the freaking queen joining us. Appreciate your good work. Yeah, man. Someday, all TCC ads will be Billie Eilish, and Defo will be sponsored by. Well, she will be featured in our commercials, just like Jeff Goldblum is featured in Raid Shadow Legends. This podcast is brought to you by Raid Billie Eyelash. Billie Eyelash. You know. Hey, Poto Cedar, Tree Void. Summon Biscuits. Mahara. Billie Eilish. Amons. Yo, dudes. Okay, Grandpa. Sup? What is up? Man, do we have a show for you tonight? Indolent Lard, do we have a show for specifically you? Indolent Lard. Yeah, FFBE has like 5 variations of Ariana Grande, so Billie Eilish, Eyelash. We could have a few of her. Metreon. Need some Taylor Swift in Depot. Who else? Worry Chad. Gifting a sub to Kitty. Meow. What show? Uh-oh. Is there a show? Donuts. Donut. There's a show. This is your Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. Rogue. You guys are going to talk about the global first BT character being Master Chief. Master Chief from the Halo video game series. Hello, Cortana. Can you be involved in this? Cortana, are you there? I need your help. Leaf Mouse, how we doing? Wiped Lufania Plus on 2%. Oh man, I hate when that happens. Hey, yes, thank you, Indolent Lard. Everybody, smash that like button. Smash that smash button. Like that smash button. Smash that like button. Ring that bell for notifications. You got to hit that bell twice. Do it gently. Do it often. Use good rhythm. Hit that bell. Just a couple times. Give us a follow on the Twitch if you're on Twitch. If you want to check out the YouTube, I do have some exclusive videos on the YouTube. I am actually thinking about transitioning a little bit more to YouTube from Twitch. I know a lot of you follow us on Twitch, are on Twitch. Just to be frankly honest with you, YouTube is much better to content creators than Twitch is. YouTube takes a pound of flesh and then another pound, Twitch. They are owned, of course, by Amazon and greedy fucks. So they are pretty awful to content creators, all things being said. That's why a lot of your most popular content creators have Patreons and OnlyFans and Fantasy Pans and other, direct donations. So, oh, yes, feel free to become a member on YouTube for exclusive dating advice. That's great. Post show, you can super chat. We'll talk about any dating needs. Ask Mark. Like a column, like in the newspapers of old, in the olden days when you had problems. Thank you, J.A, setting up our mother lover. Thank you for the subscription. I missed a subscription. Soraya, thank you for the gift sub as well. And thank you for the follows there. Bunny Breaker, Mahara. So, yes, in the days of old, in the newspaper, the paper that had the news before telephones. I know some of you don't know this time, but yes, they printed the news on paper. And you would get into the paper, and if you had a problem, you would have to write to the paper. You would have to actually mail a letter and say, Dear Mark, my so-and-so is having this problem, or I don't know how to ask this girl out to the dance. And then you would have to wait to see if your question got answered, and then they would say, Dear Lonely Heart, just ask her. And that was, yes, Dear Abby. I was not going to call out any specific infamous element, particularly before telephones. 99% of us, before, not before telephones. Although newspapers did exist before telephones, most certainly. What is the Crystal Chronicles OnlyFans? It's really inappropriate. You can, I believe, Black Nero and we had discussed this, and I think a post show, or maybe just in one of our channels, that, on OnlyFans, TCC or a Patreon tier or something, or even like a YouTube member tier, because now they have tiers in YouTube membership, where we will play the game for you. Like for like $200 a month, we will make all of your decisions, tell you what to pull, how much to pull, who to invest your ultimate weapon cores in, who to blue, who to green. So yeah, so we will. Oh yeah, J.A. Yeah, exclusive screenshots of J.A's gem count and the number of purples he has. Yeah, it's the Leaf Blade. It's the girlfriend experience. It's the Crystal Chronicles girlfriend experience. If your girlfriend played Defoe and made all your decisions for you. So, yeah, well before telephones. Back when we used to throw rocks at each other through windows to get each other's attention. Do you remember that, kids? Yeah, back when I was dating, if you wanted to get the attention of a young lady, you went to her house and threw a rock in her window, and you said, "Hey, come down here. Let's hold hands." Yeah, no, to actually play the game, for me to give to give you the account and let me play, that's against terms of service, of course. And that will be that's a lot more than $200 a month. So yeah. I Azamar, I would not suggest throwing rocks in people's windows, but so it goes. So it goes. Yeah, 2 silo cups connected with a string. That's how we communicated back in the day. Well, speaking of communication, maybe we should start a podcast. Maybe we should start the show. Ooh, yeah, apartment. But most people. I mean, yeah, I suppose. I don't know if that's particularly true, but yeah, there are a lot of people that live in cities, obviously, and then in apartment buildings and condo buildings. So it'll be interesting to see how much of the total population lives in actual rented space. I mean, obviously, a lot of the big cities in Asia and in Indonesia, like very, very big buildings, lots of tenants. So you're probably right on that. So not where I live, for I live in the suburbs. We live in houses made of gold. We wipe our butts with gold. And we eat gold, because that's what suburbians do. With their wealth that they get through Twitch and YouTube. Hey, Mino, are you ready to start the show?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody take a deep breath. Prepare yourself for what's about to be perhaps the best episode of the Crystal Chronicles that you've ever experienced. So be glad you're here. Let's start the show in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everyone, to episode 183 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded on this January 13th, 2022. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm so glad all of you are here, but I'm not alone. I'm with my good friend and yours. It's Mino Spellgood. Mino, how are you doing this beautiful January evening?
Hey, Mark. Rough week, because there's been a lot of technical difficulties at work from home, and man, it's just been fucking frustrating. I suppose if I was in the office and there were technical difficulties, you'd still be unable to do any work. Or I guess you could move to a new computer. What's it like being in the office anymore? I forget. Have you gone in recently?
Thank you, Indolent Lard, for becoming a member on YouTube. You too can become a member on YouTube. Yes, I do go into the office occasionally, but of course, my parish is the world, so I am often in various different places throughout the area that I work. But I also don't have a lot of people in my office, so we do have some staff, but especially given this current resurgence, as I'm sure that's why you are at home, not a lot of people. So. It's nice. I do, I'm able to work from right here, the beautiful Defo Dungeon, but I'm also able to go across the street because I literally live across the street from where I work. I technically live on the same property as where I work, so I can just walk across the street and go to the office whenever I want, and sometimes I need to do that just to get actual work done. So
That's like a free home office. Do people ever bother you like after a sermon, and then they just cross the street to your house, look for you?
Well, people do know where I live, so yes,
Yes.
occasionally people do come to my house. That is part of ministry. But
That's the job.
very, very rarely would people come to my house after Sunday morning, unless they've been invited. And we usually go out to lunch after after church. So I'm at church on a Sunday morning for 5-6 hours. So early. Till both of our services are done, and then sometimes I have stuff in the afternoon classes and stuff. But yeah, usually people do not walk across the street. I hang out. People can talk to me after church if they would like to. So
Office hours, right?
no, we don't really have office hours. People actually can get a hold of me. They have I don't give them my actual cell phone. They have a Google number. So very honestly, if anybody who's watching wanted to figure it out, it would not take Sherlock Holmes to get my Google number and text me. And I can block you, so I'm not too worried about it if you're going to be an idiot. But I'm available, and you can make an appointment with me. And if you do, as I said, I am truly the world is my parish. And so if anybody does need spiritual or regular advice, you can feel free to jump on my Calendly and make an appointment with me on the telephone, on Zoom, on text. Happy to chat with anybody. Well, let's chat about Defo, because that's why we're here. It is an exciting time. But before we get into the show, again, thank you everybody who is on today. Shout out to K9 Word, Infamous Element, Worry Chad, Soraya the Ranger, Mother Lover, Indolent Lard, whether they were resubbing or becoming a member on YouTube. I appreciate all the likes, all the follows. I really do. We want to try to push some YouTube memberships. There's some exclusive videos there. Really consider that. It's only 99 cents. Multiracial Lion, thank you for following us. And really, can you Skype me about dating advice? Yes. Yeah, I can use Skype. I prefer to use Zoom because I'm a professional. But anything for you, Amen. Happily, any of our, if you're a member of YouTube for 99 cents. No, that's not what it goes. But hey, last week, the TCC intern, Poto Cedar, had a wonderful trivia question. Before the show, we always have a little trivia question on the slides. In episode 26, we talked about making a kit for a character that had not been released. Which character did Mark talk about? Mino, do you remember which character you talked about?
I do, only because Pot told me, so I think that's cheating.
Yeah.
But the answer is Shantoto.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So yes, please check that out. But I talked about Aranea Highwind. So if you want to go back to episode 26, well before the GL first was even announced, I prophesied that Aranea Highwind would be in the game. Thank you, Eamon, for becoming a member and with free dating advice for 99 cents. So you can go back and check out episode 26. Around the 1 hour and 20-minute mark, we talk about Pierre, Mino, and I talk about our picks. This week's trivia: which TCC episode received the most subs on Twitch? spoilers, it could be this episode. So feel free to gift us some subs, become a member, all that kind of stuff. Throw some super chats, and maybe it will be this episode. Well, hey, we did not have a Squex mobile stream, but we had a Squex mobile in-game announcement. I don't even remember what did they call it here. Game update, I guess. January content preview. Here it is. Yes. So Joshua and Crystal send us their love via text, as all good relationships go. And they shared some interesting things. Of course, the announcement of C90. Theologica gifting some subs. Thank you. Everybody check out our good friend Theologica gifting a few subs. Thank him if you got a gifted sub as well. Yeah, thank you, Theologica. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. But so yes, the announcement of basically Null Cycle. So I thought maybe we were going to get Null and Lock Cycle jammed into the rest of the month. We are only getting Null Cycle. With that came a event called Countdown to 4th Anniversary, which will have some exclusive co-ops. But so basically, Divine Ifrit, whatever this anniversary event is, this preview countdown to anniversary, Queen Lost Chapter, and the loot event. That's pretty much the rest of the content for the rest of this month. So I'm actually surprised. I felt like we were catching up and then we're slowing down. So Mino, any thoughts about that, or it just kind of lines up with anniversary the way they want it? What were your expectations?
I've always said from the beginning that I'm sure they're just making room for new GL events. I think I said this ages ago in summer. I was like, they clearly like the distance the game is at now. It's been at an 8-month gap for like several years now. They plan that in JP as well, and so I don't think they're in any rush to speed it up. Why bother at this point? So I really think they're just squeezing in some anniversary stuff, some holiday stuff, and so I think so. Originally we were at 8 months, maybe the gap, and then now, according to Nidre's calculations, it's a little over 7 months. So about maybe roughly 3 weeks, which is just in time for. Oh, I guess that's why everyone's guessing GL first BT cycle, huh?
Right.
2-week window.
Yeah. Right. I would have thought that would be a little more realistic. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. If they crammed Null and Lock, I guess maybe they think there's more excitement for Lock. So to have the GL first potentially unlock, if there is a GL first. But yeah, who knows? We will see it when we see it, but we're not going to learn anything about it till the Squex mobile stream, I believe, on the 30th of the month.
Shit, 30, that's far. Ooh.
It is far away, and there's a pretty good gap between content here for the rest of the month. So it's going to be kind of a slow month, slow rest of the month, until potentially, hopefully an exciting early February, because I'm going on vacation in February. So it will not be great, if I'm gone during all the excitement, but it is what it is. So yes, just the 3 events in the Null Cycle plus the Countdown to 4th Anniversary event, which we don't know if there will be a banner. There might be the Noctis Prompto banner. Yes, the Vinyl Copium folks are thinking Vinyl is going to be on there. We don't know, but we'll find out later. My guess would be Prompto Noctis banner, like they got in JP around the same time, and then we'll go from there. They also announced C90 and Ultimate Weapons, which we will talk about in a little bit. There are a couple quality of life updates. There are new crystal missions. So now I think just 2 crystal missions per color and a Close Garden Cactars. So make sure you get your gems because they all reset. And you will need to do those again, and you can get your high crystals from those as well. There is a campaign for, I think, 3 times crystals if you are behind on your crystal farming. And you can also see if you're trying to upgrade a character and don't have crystals, you can also see how many crystals you need, and it will immediately give you an option to go straight to that quest. So you can do that. There are also quest tips. I think the most obvious place you see this is in the Ultimate Weapon screens, but now it will show you sample teams to bring. I don't know if it's particularly good advice, but it is a thing that is in the game now. So, yeah. Mino, anything about the quality of lives?
I'm trying to think if there was anything you missed. I want to say you got everything right. Mostly it's the crystal stuff. Why in the back of my mind, why do I think there's something else? I must be imagining it, but the crystal stuff is great. I didn't even know about the thing you said where if you don't have enough crystals, you can go straight to the screen from there. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's an interesting little thing that they added there.
right,
So,
right,
yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, all quality of lives are always welcome. I
Yeah,
see
see,
no
it's here on the screen from Crystal Quest screen. From the Crystal Quest screen, you'll now be able to see the number of crystals. So that's the one thing. And then if you're at somewhere else, you can pop back to the actual crystals that you need. So it kind of goes both ways there. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Oh, what else do we have? With this, Ursula's EX animation was fixed. Have you been using Ursula to notice the change, Mino?
I
I don't know.
what's the trigger for the bug? Because I just
Uh,
never noticed. It's not like I ran her a million times, but I used her like a handful of times, and I just didn't see like it was supposed to be a desync of the sound and the animation, the hits or something. I don't know if I noticed anything, but
It's fixed. And there are some sales, so if you want to get some high armor packs or BT packs, and there are costumes. A lot of repeat costumes. Noel's first costume, Sarah, Onion Knight, Celeste, and also Noel has a new costume. I don't know why Noel needs 3 costumes, but now you can have 3 Noel costumes. And so he has his traditional Noel costume, which is kind of dark blue, darker. It's a darker color, but I don't remember what his traditional costume is. And then the second costume is reddish, and the third costume is like armored blue. So here's his. Where's his?
wait,
Yeah.
no, he only has 2 costumes, right? You're
No,
talking
no.
about there's
He has
default,
3.
right?
He has 3 costumes. Oh, he has 2 costumes. Three
Yeah,
skins.
yeah,
So
yeah.
his original is this blue, poor future boy costume. Then he's got the red armor costume, and now the new costume is like a blue armor. I did not pick it up. I've never played the game. I'm not even sure why I have his first costume, to tell you the truth. But it does look cool. If you like Noel, I'm sure you picked it up because it does look neat. So it probably goes with his burst weapon or something like that. That's usually what those new costumes do. We also got stream rewards for we got rewards for the stream we didn't have for the in-game announcement, and we also got the retweet campaigns. So thank you, Squex Joshua and Squex Crystal, for all the information you shared with us and for free stuff. That's what I like most of all.
Checking chat really quick. Mark Excalibur says that on Twitter, Josh says it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Square Enix Joshua. Thank you so much for all the work you've done for us.
Happy birthday, Josh. You only turn...
He's my age.
34 once.
Maybe.
36.
34 can't be too far
33. You only turn something in your 30s once.
We have
I think
the same birth year. Oh, wait, we have the same birth year. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it. Okay. So I know how old he is.
There you go.
And the other update is, well, here we go. Silicon says Sayador bug still not fixed. Yeah, not a big deal. He got his party enchant early. I don't think that's going to change anything. I don't think people are going to pull or not pull for Sayador. Not like there's any banners. They're not going to use him to, like...
No.
If I was a defo GL dev and I saw this get through, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Is it really worth my time to fix this and roll out a patch? Nah,
no.
Have your cookie. It's a feature, not a bug at this point.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's just additional power. He just got an early awakening. Yeah, to be fair, as Excalibur says, the most surprising thing is someone actually noticed it because they were using Theodore in current content. So I assume maybe they were just using him in regular, but to actually use Theodore and then actually notice what is happening, props to that person.
The reason they listed was because they were trying to run theme teams, right? Ursula had just come out.
Okay.
And they're kinda sweethearts, sorta.
Yeah. Yeah, someone is doing a Theodore saga, I am sure, because someone does a saga for everything. But yes, I did see some. Theodore's still not very good, Stakhanong says. But I did see some theme Final Fantasy, the after years, 4 after years themes from them. Well, hey, let's talk about Crystal Awakening a 90 and Ultimate Weapons, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about this fairly simple concept. And so we're going to talk a lot about it, which will add more confusion to the community and hopefully drive the entire community into a tailspin, causing the game to completely shut down and us to regain our lives. But hey, what are C90? Well, if you are a person who plays this game, you will know that every character has a crystal level and a character level. Currently, before this patch, characters could go up to crystal strength 80 and level 80. Now, with Crystal Awakening 90, C90, as we call it, you can go to crystal strength 90 and level 90. You need a new type of crystal to do that. But don't fret, friends. Every new Crystal Awakening 90 character option will also have an event that gives you the correct number of crystals if you grind the event and complete everything to C90 everyone upon their release. Again, not everyone gets a C90 right away. It is rolled out fairly quickly compared to C80, C70, C60. It is rolled out fairly quickly. I think they started with 50 was our level cap initially. We will get to that, Silocons. We will get to that a lot. But fairly simple. It's a big part of the game. What does C90 do? Well, it upgrades your EX. It upgrades your additional ability. So make sure you bloom your abilities. It allows you at Crystal Strength 90 to equip ultimate weapons. It increases your stats like your attack, your max brave, your CP. All of those good things, passives and equipped passives. How do you get the crystals? You just do events. You get those high or whatever super shards or whatever they're called, the newest ones. Pretty easy to do. You'll be able to do that fairly simply. Again, I think it's a fairly straightforward concept. Some people are having a little bit of trouble with it. It's okay. Maybe this is your first kind of awakening upgrade in Defo, and so you're just kind of experiencing it for a new thing. Don't worry. It comes fast. We're going to get a lot of C90s. A lot of old characters are going to get their C90s, and the difference between this era and the C80 era is C90 actually makes a difference in some characters who don't get reworks or new weapons. So there are some characters who their upgraded EX, their upgraded stats, their upgraded AA actually do make a difference. So that's my spiel about C90. We'll talk about ultimate weapons in a bit. Mino, anything to add about C90?
Yeah, I don't understand why every content creator under the sun feels like they need to make a fucking video to explain this. This is not a new concept. This is a fifth iteration, Mark. Every year we get a crystal level awakening. Literally every year.
This is a basic part of the game.
This isn't different. Like, people are like, oh, well, new players don't know. How the fuck do you think they were getting crystal level 80? Like, this is not a new oh my god, this is like if every expansion FF14 release they tell you, hey, you get 10 new levels, this is how you level up. No, what the fuck? Like, no, this isn't even a thing new players need explained. Not only are there tutorials in the game, but how do you think they were getting characters to 80 before? The highest tier crystal is always limited to events.
Correct.
And then all of C80, which is the last 2 fucking years, you always have enough from the event to get those every character to the max crystal level. What do crystals level C90s do? They make your skills relevant again. This isn't fucking new. C60s extended your fucking S1 and S2. And then, you know, the later C levels, they extended your EX. And now they extend your AA and EX again. Like, this is old shit. I don't feel... This isn't news. And the fact that there has to be an announcement in-game, sure. Square Enix and Josh, sure, that's their job. But content creators, this is not a new concept in any way. Nothing C90 does is new or novel. Holy shit. The amount of videos that flooded being saying prepare for C90 blew my fucking mind. Jesus Christ. All right.
I mean, the big difference between C90 era and other awakenings is Crystal Awakening 80 meant almost nothing. And Crystal Awakening 90 actually means something. It actually makes characters really good. And we're going to get it really fat. What does 80 even do? Right. I mean, all the other ones were at 60. The extensions were at 60, right? 50 to 60 or 60 to 70. Who knows? I don't remember. 80 was 80's calls. Thank you.
There you go. Hey, that's actually a big deal.
Which is a big deal. Again, right. I mean, calls did considerably change the game. So thank you.
So every 10 crystal level cap raise is the same shit. We get something pretty good, right? Like a new mechanic that upgrades an old ability, and that's it. So like, I don't know, it's not a new concept. Your stats go up, your character gets better. I don't know why it's being discussed. There's no decisions being made. You have the resources to max everybody. So like, it's not like, hey, Ultima weapons, choose one. No, it's just pump your fucking crystals in. It's like talking about leveling up. Hey, Mark, let me make you a video telling you how to level from 80 to 90. It's automatic. It's automatic. It makes no difference because everyone's going to do it anyway.
I'm pretty sure I've seen prominent content creators tell me how to do that. So, in giant quotes, in other games,
italics and asterisks.
Yes, FFF 12321 does make a good point. Content creators will make videos on anything that get views. And
see, Mark, I'm not just a content creator. I'm also a player, right?
Yes.
And at some point, I have to wonder how am I being insulted for my time and intelligence, right? Like 30-minute videos on sea level 90. Like at some point, when are we being condescended to that this is too hard of a concept to grasp? I don't fucking know. Like this is what do they say in the fucking media business? Like over explaining. Like I just like not respecting the intelligence of your audience.
Correct. Think about that, folks, as you watch people's videos who are disrespecting your intelligence. We don't do that at the Crystal Chronicles because this is your City Final Fantasy podcast. And so we respect you and your intelligence. Doesn't mean we won't ban you from our Discord, but it does mean we do love you and respect you. And yes, as Trevoid says, one of the most important things about C90 is what we're going to talk about now. If you fully crystal strength your character to C90, you can equip ultimate weapons. And only C90 characters can equip ultimate weapons. So if you have already made your ultimate weapons, as apparently everybody already has, you cannot equip it to Machina, for example. He's C80. He's not C90. So hopefully that's easy enough for you to get.
We got a Q&A. Some people are saying they have trouble with the Q&A function, so just let me know your question, Silocons. But Vunk says, can you tell me how to look at the quest reward screen so I can see how to get rewards? You make a joke, but I saw a video outlining that the Ultima mission rewards are in the Ultima mission tabs and how to click that to get your cores. So I don't know, man. Like there, I'll send you the video. That'll answer your question.
Very good. Yes, sir. You'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised. Hey, well, let's talk about Ultimate Weapons. Ultimate Weapons, we have a whole new tab. It's not really a tab, it's in its own button. You look at it right here. It says Ultimate Weapons. And it takes a little while to load. And then you see all of the possible C90 characters, and they have the ability to then, of course, equip ultimate weapons, and you can go cast, sublimate your ultimate weapons as well, where you can create new ultimate weapons. So what are ultimate weapons? They are weapons that can be attached to any C90 character if they have the right weapon type. So there is one ultimate weapon per weapon type in the game. They have, at base, better stats than fully leveled BT weapons. So I think a fully leveled BT weapon usually has maybe 1,500 attack. Ultimate weapon's going to have 2,000. 4,500 brave. Ultimate weapon's got 5,000. 160 CP for a BT plus weapon, or maybe BT plus, and then 180. So again, all of them better stats at very base. Better stats. You can upgrade them several times. It is exceptionally costly. Right now, you cannot refund, but eventually we think, as they did in Japan, there will be a refund button. So what do? They have better stats, and then as you upgrade them, as you limit break them with their cores, they get HP damage up to the character that's using them. That's really all they do, but that is a lot. As you know, as we've talked about, making your damage dealers and your characters being able to increase their HP damage cap is really important. And so these weapons allow you to do that. They are not necessary, but they are pretty powerful. And you will notice a big power difference if you start equipping the ultimate weapons. How do you obtain cores? So you need cores to make ultimate weapons. It costs 50 to make one of each ultimate weapons, and then it costs more to upgrade them. I think it costs 800 to fully upgrade, to fully limit break one ultimate weapon. If you want a second copy of that one, it will actually cost you more, 900. But if you want one of each, it's 800 cores per thing. You get them by completing various missions in-game, but also by unlocking special ultimate weapon missions through the characters. And this is super, super important. I've seen a lot of information and a lot of craziness about how to get cores. When you go to the ultimate weapon screen, you press on a character, and you see these two options. Enhance Onion Knight to Crystal Strength 90, you automatically get 10 cores. Clear a Lufania with Onion Knight in the party. Each character who is C90 can be locked to any Lufania fight to unlock 5 crystal cores. That is a quest they each can do once and once only. You don't have to perfect it. You can bring one of them with 2 other characters. The confusion is there's been a lot of people saying you have to, Ursula's event's disappearing in 6 days. You gotta bring these characters to Ursula's event and get 15 cores, or you'll miss 15 cores. No. What they have tried to say is, if you want to min-max for some stupid reason, you can lock 3 of these characters into Ursula's event, and then you can use your other old Lufanias for other characters that come out. Guess what, friends? You don't need the time-limited events to unlock all these quests. You can use there's a lot of old Lufanias, and don't worry about it, because you can actually, I can't do it right now, but when you click this, because I've unlocked all the quests, you will actually see a prompt that has all of the Lufania quests that you could bring the character into. And you can go straight to that quest, and you can sort by oldest, which is wonderful. Yeah, I think it's Embark is what Excalibur is saying, right? Somebody was just saying. And again, I can't see it now because I've unlocked all these. but yeah, you can sort by oldest, so you can go the very first, and so 8, for example, 8's lost chapter, or maybe one of the old acts, but 8's lost chapter is one of the oldest Lufanias, and so you can go and bring these characters into it. And let me tell you this. So this is my experience. I'll let Mino talk for a while. I brought Onion Knight, Sarah, and Null. I don't have Null's BT. Neither of them are green. Onion Knight and Null are not green because I don't have Null's BT. I'm not going to green Onion Knight. We'll talk about that. I do have Sarah's LD. I brought them into Ursula just to see. And I was able to beat Ursula Lufania with those 3 characters and a friend. It took a while. It was fine. It was a little challenging, but I got it done. Then I brought Sid into 8's Lufania and basically auto-battled that. So it's really about how you want to spend your time, and if you want to make this something that's a challenge, like, oh, I'm going to use this as another way to play the game that's a little challenging, bring some of these characters into newer Lufanias, or I'm just going to bring them into old Lufanias to get the cores and be done with my life. Either way, do not worry about limited time Lufanias going away. You're not losing anything. You're just losing mysterious slots that don't really matter because we have plenty of Lufanias, and we're going to get more permanent Lufanias, right? So just take a breath, relax. Yes, if you want to do the Ursula one, great, but don't worry about it if you can't. If these characters aren't leveled up enough, you don't have their weapons, just chill. And I've seen people do the Ursula event 3 times to lock each 3 of these characters. If that's how you want to spend your time, great. Enjoy the game. I'd rather do other things. So Mino, what do you want to say about all this mess?
Well, just to follow up on that first is right. Thanks to In said if all the characters in the game right now had C90, we would need 53 Lufanias to get all of them, rounding up. And currently we have 47 permanent Lufanias.
Yeah.
Right? And then JP is 8 months ahead, and they're not even done with the C90. So we'll clearly have more than enough events as it comes out. Let's also not forget when, first of all, every batch comes with an event.
Yep.
And then every new character can be run synergy in their event if you feel like it. Right? So doing it on temporary events isn't even min-maxing. I mean, like Mark said, if that's how you want to play, that's how you want to play.
Yeah,
and I'll get to that, right? Like there's different modes to play this, how you want to do this. But if you're after the rewards, running it through temporary Lufania is definitely not the best way to do it. That is not min-maxing it. Because if you're purely after the rewards, which I know most of you guys are, like you guys don't like to fucking rerun quests, don't lie to me. So if you're mostly after the rewards, what I do is I go to the embark screen and then I sort available quests by oldest.
Yes.
And I dumped Noel, Onion Knight, and Sarah into the oldest Lufania I could find, which was the Shinryu fight, at the end of Act 2. And, I no-turned that in like 10 minutes or less. And then I got their cores and I moved on. And that's what I plan to do for every batch. Go to the oldest event possible, murder it, and then move on. Because if you do the current event, and this is and I've seen a lot of JP players in main core talk about how tedious this is, or how they're burnt out, or how they have a backlog, because most of them will find 2 super powerful people to run one person through the latest Lufania, either through auto battle or manually carrying them across the finish line, and then they do it 3 times.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do not want to fucking do that.
That's awful.
And that's how you fall behind, and that's why like some people have like summon boards still to do on their characters, because instead of making the grind reasonable, and again, if you're focused on the reward, all you're doing is grinding. Instead of making the grind reasonable, you're making it hard on yourself for no reason. For what? Missed opportunity cost? Gotcha praise on FOMO. If you think you're missing something because these Lufania slots are going away, even though you have plenty of fucking permanent slots and easier ways to do this, you just played yourself. I don't know. You're making this grind a lot harder than it needs to be. But that being said, for the people who make their own fun in this game, this opens up ways to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like it gives you incentive to pull and try the new toys. It gives you incentive to go back and run old content. It breathes more life into the game. That's literally what long-running games do is grinds. Mark already knows this. This is what FF14 does with roulettes. They reward you for going back to run old content just to fucking, be like, hey, run it more than once. And like this is literally just an artificial grind increase, which is fine because, I plan to have fun with it. I know some people plan to have fun with it. For example, they have that recommended, like each fight has a recommended list of characters to bring, right? So I plan when the C90 roster gets bigger to try those recommended teams.
Yeah, I think
fights.
that would be fun because I imagine some of them are not great ideas.
Right, exactly. Like for shits and giggles,
Yeah.
like I always said before, like my method of fun in games is to figure out developer intention. So the developers are telling me, hey, we think ideally this fight is built for these characters. I want to try it. Like I want to see how well it actually works.
Yeah, I
right?
was thinking the same thing. I think that would be hilarious.
Right? Yeah, they're like, hey, we feel like this team will engage with the mechanics best. Okay, let me give it a shot. So that's my plan moving forward. Is as the C90 roster grows, I'm gonna try out the recommended teams, or like it's just fun to, some people loved running T4 in Entropy 2 years after its release with the newest character, just to be like, haha, look how fast I can blow it up. This is a version of it where you get rewarded. And this is the most fun about these missions, Mark. This is the most fun. All right. Well, it also gives people incentive to run that middle difficulty of Lufania, right? Instead of
Yeah.
Lufania Plus.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, new event has Lufania. Why don't you run the middle difficulty? Lots of incentives all around. Now, here's the fun thing. All the people who ask for more grind, more content, different modes to be rewarded for lockouts and stuff. Let's see how many of those people actually enjoy it now that they got it. Because this is what this is. This is an artificial grind increase telling you to use your deep roster to run old content. And now
Right.
you get rewarded for it. All these people who said, oh, TCC challenge is pointless. I would do it, but I don't get anything for it. Well, now you get Ultima Cores. So for like GIMP teams and old content. So here you go. Let's see how many people actually wanted this and how many people are still just going to find a way to bitch about anything. But I do know that for the TCC challenge crew, this is a fun way to shake things up and like run funny teams just for the hell of it. An incentive to do so.
Thank you, CSDX, for the resub there. Silocons is asking, do you know if you upgrade it to premium from basic mod pass, does your premium period become 30 days from the upgrade, or it ends upon the expiration? I think someone answered.
I think I saw, and I won't say this
Same
with
duration,
absolute
yeah.
certainty. Yeah, same duration. Like it
Yeah.
will not increase the duration
Yeah.
because, right. So it's like, same duration as everything I've heard.
Yeah, so let it end and then get a new one if you want to go premium. And the one thing we did not mention is if you do have the premium mod pass, you will be able to get additional cores. For example, this current event, complete World of Illusions, Divine Ifrit, Cosmos, and Chaos. Because I have the premium Moogle pass, I got 20 additional cores. So every event, if you have a premium mod pass, you will get additional cores. And so, yes, the rich will get richer and will be able to have more cores sooner and more fully maxed weapons sooner. So is that worth? Yes, GRW18, you're triggered because I have 145 cores. Sorry. But yeah. Mino, is this worth the investment of the premium Moogle Pass?
Again, it's FOMO, right? Like everything in gacha is capitalizing on FOMO. Some people will freak out because they're missing potential resources. And I think this is a good way to sell passes.
Yeah. Well, it adds value to the passes because the value of the passes has been diminishing. And
Right,
so
right, right.
this adds value to the pass again. I think they can continue to do that throughout iterations of the game to continue to add a little bit more value to the pass. But yeah, again, is it worth it? Again,
It's up to you.
yeah,
I always the whales I always talk to are like Goose, right? Like they're like, "Oh, you know what? I was pretty satisfied with the bundles I've already been buying, right? Like
yeah,
DJ 2, the high armor bundles. They're like, "Yeah, I could pay this every month and get this." And now for the people paying that, you just get more value for the same price.
right.
So for a lot of people, it's an easy decision. For me, it did get me back on Premium Pass.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yes.
I was off Mog Pass for quite a few months, like 3 or 4 months, because all my artifacts were maxed.
Yeah.
Like all summon boards weren't a problem because they took longer, sure, but I'm just auto plussing anyways.
Right.
Like I really had nothing to gain. Like EX tokens, I have all the EXs. Like I'd be just paying a absurd amount every month for what, like 5 BT token, the 10 BT tokens. But now the Ultima weapons is enough incentive for me to resubscribe to the premium pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we transition from talking about C90 and ultimate weapons to our current event, we only have one event. We did have anybody you wanted to shout out today? I didn't have anybody in my notes, Mino.
Was it Blart? Did Blart hit his sub goal now? Is he at 500?
Oh,
I
Blart!
believe?
No, Blart. Blart did hit Blart Defo, our good friend Blart, who is a member of the live stream. That thing on Monday night, I couldn't remember. Yeah, he not only did Blart hit his sub goal of 500, he overshot it, and he's now approaching 700. So much love to our good friend Blart. I always enjoy his videos. They're very amusing and very funny, and his insights are good as well. So shout out to Blart there. Now, if you are a member, a YouTube member, if you want to join YouTube for 99 cents, or if you want to sub on Twitch, again, I'd ask you that you consider on YouTube, trying to push that a little bit more. You do get some exclusive things. And one of the things we do is our members get access to a special Discord channel in our Discord, and our good intern, Poto Cedar, asks questions every week, and we'll get your answers. And so the question of the week: have you enjoyed any character in Defo more than their original game, and why? CSAM says all the Crystal Bearers characters. I didn't play that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much everybody. We all love the Crystal Bearers characters. Yeah. Blind Eye says Pain. Made Pain in Dark Knight mostly thanks to class change shenanigans. Was not expecting her to be more tactical in OO. Blart, as we just mentioned, says Setzer. As Kid and Defo offers so much more than it did in 6, no doubt. Shizarin, who is in chat with us, said, I'd say Snow. Yeah, I think we can all agree Snow is much better in this game. And also Yida, not playable in the original Final Fantasy 14, but Ida's gameplay here is great, and I agree. Lise and Ida are trash in Final Fantasy 14, but I do like her kit here in... Well, I've enjoyed her up until Yidara. Artistic says, I enjoy Locke, even though I haven't played his original game. Play Final Fantasy 6. It's a great game. Goose, you people in your names, just played through, the part in 13. So Snow. Shadowheart. Fang. And Luna Freya, Shaded Mystic says, Luna Freya, she's kind of nothing in 15, but her default kit is very engaging. Spoilers, she is a character in JP. Lily says, Pain in default, she's always been rather interesting. Final Fantasy X-2, she's just kind of there to be a slot plot device, plus she felt kind of ancillary. Whereas Yun and Rico had the whole previous game to be fleshed out, Pain had some spheres. Yep. Stray Bead, probably General Leo, because you get to use them in more than one fight. I think that's true as well. And Tree Void says, Warrior of Light, the biggest glow up in default. Of course, he's the main character, right? And so I agree there. He has become a favorite through his interaction in the Dissidia everything else. So, Mino, did you have any character that you like more because of Defo?
Um, I'm trying to think of that specific example, but no one's coming to mind now. I just know that I look forward to FF4 kits because FF4 was such a simple game, and seeing their kits or the character design reimagined
You
in
said kits. That is not what I thought you said. So yeah, I apologize. That threw me off for a second.
What?
Whew.
uh
Wow.
Okay, I mean, but like, I look forward to FF4 kits because they're so basic in their original game. They have like one or two special moves. Some of them aren't even practical, and Defo gives them new identity. So I guess on that track, Edward. Let's say Edward, right? He had very
Yeah.
little to do in his original game,
He
and I thought he had such a fun kit in Defo. Even though I liked the character originally, anyways. But if we're talking about like kit glow ups, I'll say Edward.
somebody I have to admit somebody we were talking about Edward and Tella and different Final Fantasy IV characters, and so I did look because somebody was saying, oh, Edward's really not playable very often in the game, except in some of the different versions, right? And looking at the original game, the original NES and yeah SNES game, Super Nintendo version of the game, Edward's not in a lot of content. It actually in a lot of dungeons in the game.
None
So
of the characters are in
Yeah.
a lot of dungeons. We
Yeah.
watched Raw play through this.
Yeah.
It's like FF2. Most of the characters are 2 dungeons
Yeah.
tops.
yeah,
Like the kid twins,
yep,
Kidia,
yep,
Sid. People keep asking for Tella. I guess he got 3 dungeons
yeah.
instead
Totally
of 2.
got a couple more, right? Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edward, right? Who else? Literally everyone that joins the party usually gets about 2 dungeons tops.
Yeah. Yeah. There it goes. Well, thank you for all your answers. And you can become a member on YouTube for 99 cents or gift a sub or become a member on Twitch if you want to let us know what you think. And there will be a new question for next week. Hey, we have a thing to talk about, and Mino and I really didn't talk about how we're going to be covering this era. So I guess today we're going to go through it because we only got one event. Moving forward, we may not do this, but today we got one event and 4 characters to cover. So let's do it. Divine Ifrit brought us 4 C90s with reworks, couple BT pluses, and a new LD. So let's break them down one at a time, starting with Onion Knight. Onion Knight comes back with his LD, BT, and now BT plus. We've had Onion Knight for a while. Wow. He doesn't get a lot. It feels like crap to press any of his buttons. His BT effect is not particularly loaded. I was really looking like, okay, like best case scenario, how could you use Onion Knight? And this is me, I'm not, I don't have him green, but just trying to theory craft because we all love to do that. Like on a heavy magic damage dealing team, he would be a good friend to call in, hit his burst, and be a support burst. BT plus, because he can do magic attack up 100%, brave damage up, HP damage up 30%. And brave damage limit up, and he does decent, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just to the party in general, and he can enchant ice. So I guess maybe that would be best case scenario. You really want to rely on that because the ninja stance, he'll burn through his BT effect so fast, and all of his buttons suck. And I'm really, really sad for Onion Knight because I really liked Onion Knight. I've liked his kit in the game. I like jumping between the stances, being able to have the versatility of doing physical attacks or magic attacks, enchant and peril. But yeah, he really doesn't seem worth a green in my opinion. Mino, you want to add anything about Onion Boy?
Yeah, sure. He's the perfect character to kick off C90s with because he is an example of what is going to die in this era. And I say that not as a joke, but as a serious thing. Like, in the C90 era, the thing is everyone's gonna start capping.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be so strong the reductions don't mean anything to them
Right.
anymore. Everyone's gonna cap their own hits. So when we talk about game meta, a lot of people conflate that to mean some nonsense things. But what the meta means is if you step back and take a look at the game design, what actually works. And the meta of the C90 era is number of dumps. That's what's gonna matter. Not number of brave hits, not number of whatever else. Everyone's gonna cap. So when everyone's capping, what matters most? Their damage is literally tied to how many times they can dump.
Yep.
And this is what I call the D&D problem. Anyone who's played D&D knows this. I know Mark is very familiar with this. Power creep in D&D is
Yep.
number of dice rolled. All right.
Yeah.
Like when spells get stronger, it's number of dice rolled. So how do you tell if one spell is better than the other? How many dice you roll. Each dice rolled is a dump. D&D is a game confined to the number of dice rolled. D20 is usually the biggest. I don't think a lot of attacks use that. But like let's go like D8s, D10s, right? Like if you're a wizard and you're casting spells, you're limited by the number of like Meteor Swarm is what, like a 9d10 or for example or some bullshit like that. The point is your damage potential is by the number of dumps allowed. And Onion Knight is single dumps all the way. I don't care how hard he's fucking hitting. I don't care.
No,
I don't care what kind of fucking ores he's doing or how fast
every
he is.
every button he presses is 100 and 100,000,
Yeah,
120.
is capping at whatever the cap is allowed.
Whatever the
for a
cap
single
is,
dump.
exactly.
Because
Correct.
you can bring HP caps.
Yep.
AAs raise caps, blue armors raise caps, ultimate weapons raise caps. So it's not but the only thing that matters for the next couple of months is how many dumps are in the kit. And I'm saying Onion Knight is perfect for this because we're going to take a look at everyone else that released besides him who got multiple dumps on all their abilities.
Everything.
Almost. Not Sid S1. Don't press that button. But but the point is like when he is sitting next to everybody and like this is again the perfect event to launch C90 with because you've got him doing single dumps next to all of his C90 compatriots in a fight where everybody has synergy stats and in a fight where there's no reductions. Like Ifrit has very, very minimal reductions. 0 brave gain reductions and I think at max 30 brave damage reductions. So in an ideal setting where everyone's going to max, which you're going to see a lot in the C90 era, the only thing that matters is dumps. And you can finally, all you content creators doing should you pulls, you can finally go back to black and white, is this character good or not, based on the number of dumps they have, and you would probably be right 9 times out of 10. Right? Like if you just be like, I'm going to rate characters based on how many dumps they have in their kit, you would be right 9.9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And Onion Knight is a perfect example of I don't give a shit what's in your kit. If you don't have any dumps, this is dog shit character for sure. Like we'll talk about the fight when we get to the fight, but that's just on Onion Knight, right?
Yeah. Sad for Onion Knight. Well, that brings us to the next one, and that is there's 2 banners, of course, Onion Knight and Sarah, and then Nolan said. And so Sarah comes back. We got Sarah's LD early. She was a GL first LD for us, or a GL time traveling LD, or however you want to say it. And so we've had her for a while, and she's still fairly good. She does get a rework and a C90, allowing her to become a really solid support again. Again, as Mino just mentioned, all of her attacks now get multiple dumps, more brave gain. She's actually doing fairly decent damage. She doesn't heal, but she does debuff and provides significant amount of support to the party in all of the ways that you would like. Her most important, the brave damage up, HP damage up, that is dependent on number of debuffs the enemies have. And so if you're fighting enemies that can't be debuffed or cleanse debuffs, because she only has 1 framed and 3 unframed, that can be difficult. But given that, she's doing everything you want: attack up, max brave up, defense down, brave damage up, overflow up, HP damage up, brave gain up just a little bit. She's not super good with the brave gains compared to other brave gainers, but as a solid support character, she does have encouragement armor. She does battery a lot. So, I mean, if you love Sarah, your blue Sarah is going to be a solid support. Again, A lot of people are though. So she's definitely in competition as a good support with a lot of other characters who are good support depending on what you need. Do you want just straight HP damage up, Brave damage up? Do you want Brave gains up? She leans heavily more into the HP damage up, Brave damage up category, which is nice. So she's really solid, and I'm not sure. I would not pull for, and I suggested this. You can check out my pull video for this cycle. I would not pull on her unless you're new to the game and she's a favorite, because this banner's awful. I would not pull on this banner at all. But if you already have her, you get a free upgrade, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Mino?
So Iden is pointing out that a new mechanic she got is framed debuffs. All of her debuffs are framed now. That's a new thing. I didn't mess around with her too much other than dumping her on Ultimate Weapon.
Are all her debuffs framed now?
Shoot, this is a real gap in my research here, but if chat wants to confirm, LD frames debuffs on
yes,
use. It
yes.
frames her debuffs. Okay, so
yes,
like a Kefka
and extends
effect.
them, correct? And extends
Right,
them.
right.
Yes,
Just
thank
like
you.
a Kefka
Thank you for
effect.
clarifying.
Thank you,
yes.
In's been real helpful lately. I don't know what's happening.
He has. Yes,
yeah,
I appreciate
know.
it.
Seriously, he's actually knowledgeable these days. Yeah. So with Sarah, I mean, she's doing what she always does, right? Like, nice aura bot, strong poisons. The poisons still surprise me every time. On when I was messing around with her on the Ifrit fight, and I don't have too much to add to that specifically, but just addressing chat, I didn't feel like there's some chatter from some undesirables in chat. I didn't feel like this warranted further explanation because I wanted to respect intelligence, but I guess I have to. And when people were saying, well, Prompto has 10 dumps, does that mean he's better than Onion Knight? And I said, first of all, I said C90 era, meaning everyone getting their C90 coming up, guys, because when you get your C90, you can equip a maxed out Ultima weapon, which will make you always cap.
Yeah.
You've got blue armors in there. You've got decent team building, as in like a Sarah level support, or you've got like the AA, which vastly increases brave damage done and caps, guys. So it's not literally everyone is better than Onion Knight, guys. We're comparing C90 to C90s. I don't know why you're comparing C90s to old ass characters. I don't know why time is a concept that fails for you guys. We only look forward, not back. But no, C90 is gonna make it very easy to cap. Have you guys seen some of the AA reworks coming up on these C90s? Like raise party brave damage done by 50%? Guys, no, stop. Dumps are the future. Stop looking fucking back. I'm so pissed that I actually had to address this. But sorry, Mark, go on.
Yeah, somebody was saying, and maybe it's Excalibur, though, the one thing that puts me off about Sarah is her party attack up comes in the form of generic buff. I mean, that's something that's always been the case with her, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah.
A good chunk of, more than half of her attack for the party is a generic buff, so you need to make sure you take that up. Again, a lot of characters with BT effects and BT plus effects are doing similar things and more. And her EX is not the nuke button that a lot of other EXs are. It's still doing good damage, but so again, she's solid. If she's a favorite, you're gonna feel fine using her. If not, I think she is what she is. Well, let's go to the banner that is the banner that matters. And do we want to do Sid or Null first? Who do I have here? Let's do Null because he just basically gets a BT plus. He gets a lot more. He gets a C90 and rework and everything else. Null is he's our second of the 3 big damage dealers that we get consecutively. Machina, Null, and Locke. Null is the first of the C90 damage dealers, which means you can get a special weapon and equip an ultimate weapon to him, and he will be doing a lot of damage. Now, his damage output, I didn't really think Null is the most complicated character to play in terms of upgrading his special attacks. When a target is broken, that's how you get the plus. You break, you can get extra turns. Some of his things unbreak the target and then break them again. Apparently, it's a little confusing for some people because I've seen a lot of people not run him very well, and I don't have him, and I don't have him. I mean, I have his LD, I don't have his BT, and I don't have him green. But I've definitely watched some videos of people with green blue null wondering what's happening. His main damage potential is tied to his EX, and so his EX takes a little bit to charge, but once it's charged, it charges fairly fast. We're going to have a character coming later this month who's going to help that problem out real quick and make Null just constantly spam his EX. And it's doing massive damage. It can easily do well over 1 million damage if you buff it closer to 2 million damage. His BT effect just makes that even better and helps the party with that a little well. So we've talked about Null before, the unbreak, the rebreak. I enjoyed his LD era a little bit. He does do ice and wind. You have to remember that on some of his abilities, but he does get a nice upgrade. Not all of his abilities feel good, but if you optimize his play, you're going to be LDing and EXing most of the time. So, he's going to be a big damage dealer. And so if he's the one that you've invested in, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. He's going to be doing lies. Null never left my bench before. I used Null during his LD quite a few times. So, but yeah, Mino, what do you got to say? I will say one of the things with his EX is his BT effect allows his EX charge rate to go up. That makes it a lot easier because it is a slow charge to get to there. But then you use his BT plus, makes it a lot faster, and then keeps the charge rate up every other turn. If you pair him with Lloyd or Lude, or I don't know how he interacts with Selfie. I don't know that he interacts too well with her, but definitely with Lude, he's going to do a lot of crazy, stupid stuff. So, but yeah, easily, he can break 1 million with his EX. His BT phase is not super exciting though. Comparatively to the other two. I think Machina and Locke are going to have more exciting BT phases.
Yeah.
But over the course of the fight, and I think this actually may hurt Null, over the course of the fight, Null can probably do more damage better. But when you can double or triple his BT phase, the fight's probably going to not last that long. So again, is he the strongest or the weakest of the three? I would say he's the weakest of the three, but I think it's up in the air. I think you can make arguments for any of them. So, Mino, what do you think of Null? Do you have him? Did you use him, etc.?
I have him. I don't have him fully built. I messed around with Hitmonchan invested for me, and I tried it on his account. I haven't seen that many in co-op, surprisingly. I think he's suffering from damned by faint praise out of the Millionaires Club. He's the middle child. So I think some people are saving for Locke, or some people already pulled Machina. I've seen a good amount of discussion of, I already pulled Machina. So
a lot of Machinas, and we know a lot of people are, because, I mean, Locke is obviously, I think Locke is the era winner. So I think Locke will do the most amount of damage, plus he does a whole bunch of other crap. In addition to that, people are asking about Lude. That's how you pronounce it. The character coming at the later of the month is named Lude. So that's his name. I'm sorry, I don't know how to make it any better. That's his name. Lude. Lude. Yeah. But Lude has an ability, if you're not familiar with it, to instantly charge EXs and then have EX charge rate up. So he can basically just keep Null's EXs rolling every turn, which is great.
So I believe like the release this cycle, it's very deliberate in showing off C90, and I think they did an okay job. Like, I guess in concept, Onion Knight's enchant being tied to his A and being extended because of 90 is an okay thing in theory. And then, he also gets things off of his EX as well. And so Null's the other side of that. His damage is so packed into his EX.
Yeah.
Like, if Machina is all about pressing that HP plus, Null's all about pressing that EX. and so like his AA is quite good, and his EX is the focus. So of course he's a C90 representative. So I feel like it's a decent choice. I don't like Null for personal petty reasons, so I don't think this should dissuade anyone. But just for me, I think Mark said he used him a lot in his LD. I pulled his LD. I did not have fun using him.
No, me
Uh,
neither.
yeah, I did not have fun doing the re-breaks all the
Yeah.
time. And his animations are quite long, and I did not like sitting through that most of the time. So like I did not find myself using him much more than I think his two synergy events outside of his LD release. And I know this was going to be more of the same. And again, this isn't like an objective critique of the character. This is just me personally not liking using the character, which is why I didn't invest. But my my slight defense as to why he would be preferable over Machina is that Machina has a limited window of effectiveness. His 12 HP
Yeah.
pluses. His 12 HP pluses. If it's not dead by then, he's kind of eating up space after that. Like you're either gonna kill it within a reasonable time frame, or if the fight drags out, Machina is going to lose effectiveness here. So Machina is very much a burst DPS. Plus, unless you set it up well, he's going to delay himself as well between those hits. Null's EX is, I think an EX is much easier to manage. As we said, there are characters in this game that significantly either speed up EX charge or instantly refill it. Right now we have Ashe. There's Selfie as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's others that I'm forgetting. I think Eamon and BC were doing tests with Shiva
Oh,
to
okay.
kind of speed up the recast slightly. But also, once again, Liud's coming. And again, no coincidence that Liud's coming in the debut cycle of C90s,
Yeah.
as because C90s are all about powering up EXs, and Liud is here to fully charge everyone's EXs as part of his kit. So I think if you want to run Null as your Millionaire Club representative, Locke is still going to be the most brain dead. But if you want to make use of Null, there are characters you can pair him with to get a lot of
Yeah.
mileage, and he's kind of the opposite of Machina. Whereas Machina's damage is all up front and it runs out, his is infinite and
Yeah.
more effective over a longer period of time.
Which arguably you don't need because
Right,
bosses
right. Of
bosses
course,
are
of course.
melting.
Yes, of course.
I
Great
mean,
point.
I think one of the one of the things for like the selling points of Null is he can equip an ultimate weapon, right? And so if you want to have that option, he is now Machina's going to get one too eventually, but Machina's not going to be able to equip an ultimate weapon for quite some time. So I think that is a selling point. But yeah, I would not have anticipated Null being very difficult to play, but just some of the gameplay that I've seen this week has told me otherwise. I would have said Null was probably the easiest of the three to play, Machina, Locke, and Null. But maybe I'm going to take that back and say that's not the case. So,
Yeah. Sorry, catching up with chat really quick. Yes. So we did mention it, but I guess it bears repeating that the Brave Plus Plus does recharge his EX. That's how he gets lots of uses of it. Mark did say that. I believe I did hear that. And then Eamon saying, "Oh, make sure to mention that Shiva doesn't charge EXs faster, but does offset speed increases to EX." Yeah, we'll have that in the podcast as a technical note. I feel like it's gonna be very niche tech, but it is on the records if people want to try that out. And yeah, I was thinking like people will want to speed him up or turn manipulate with him, and Shiva can offset some of that. And then finally, there's a lot of lot there's a lot coming in here. Hold on. But Noel. Oh, right. People, there was a good amount of people on our server and cross servers that talked about they did not like Machina's rework because he went from a interesting character to a HP plus spammer,
yeah.
and that they felt like it simplified him too much. I feel like Noel is gonna go in the same direction, right? Like you're just gonna want to hit that EX button,
No,
and
that's all you
everything
do, right?
after that EX button is gonna feel like filler. People are already freaking out about force weapons, right? They're like, oh my god, force time is making it so that it feels good when force time is active, and everything outside of force time feels bad. Guys, we're already doing that with Machina and Null. It's either the HP plus or the EX button, and everything outside of that feels bad. We're already there, guys. It's the same. The game is more of the same. It builds upon itself. Nothing really changes in the long run. Like this is already a mini preview of Force. Like you're either fine with it or you're not. But yeah, back to you.
Well, let's look at the final character who has the new LD, and that is Sid from Final Fantasy VII. Sid, and he is a ranged Dragoon character who does wind damage and was able to remove buffs, dispel, and delay a little bit of everything in his kit. He gets an LD, big fat brave gains, and split HP attacks. Nine dumps, but one hit split attacks. And this gives him a new overhead buff that's kind of looks like Garnet's, and it is his ship, and the Highwind, and so it ticks up and then pops on allies' turns. So not after his turn, not before the boss turn, when after an ally acts, after ally action, when it has 3 stacks, then he does this bombs away and his airship attacks you. So kind of cool, but also kind of weird as how it kind of fits in the team comps. So you kind of have to build around it. Again, his EX has always been a huge HP damage EX where he does 13 hits, 13 dumps, brave gains, delay. So you can really, if you can pump up the HP damage cap, you can do a lot of damage on his HP. I think his damage potential can be pretty good for the LD characters, but his overhead mechanic seems a little strange. It's just a little different compared to a lot of characters being an effect after an ally's turn versus after your turn or after a boss or before a boss. So, but I know, Mino, I know you have him. You've been using him. So what's your impression of Sid?
Very basic character concept, right? Like he goes in the opposite direction of having a million fucking dumps. I think he has like 12 dumps on his EX and then another 6 on his LD and another 6 on his follow-up or whatever. Basic concept is, as somebody with this many dumps, he's the fun big DPS that you can just pump all your resources into. As in, like, you can bring 2 supports and just focus on pumping up Sid's damage, and he can take care of your DPS needs. Fun gimmick, kind of basic. I don't think a lot of people will like it, but I know Goose and I have been having fun playing around this, like tons of Brave retention. If you get like Brave and HP caps up with a lot of HP damage up, he's like hitting ridiculous numbers. I think Goose was on a single target hitting like 1.7 million per EX recast. And that's
Pretty
up a
good.
lot. So, like, yeah, if you just want to dig around, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's practical because his stuff is split damage, and you will notice the drop off on multiple targets. In fact, Ifrit, his debut fight, made him look real bad. And I'll get to that because Ifrit has an invincible ad that's only purpose there is to make AoE split attacks do less damage to Ifrit. So like it made him look really bad.
Yeah, his EX is full damage though, isn't it? It's the LD and the
the EX is split as well because it's per hit. It's not an AO. It's not like a bunch of AOE. It's like it's hitting a target.
Alternating hits.
Yeah. So all his entire kit is getting split on Ifrit, and so it feels really bad. But I'm saying like it's a fun gimmick because if you like, it's again perfect for C90, big fat EX, lots of dumps. Perfect for C90 because Ultima weapons make him look real good. Ultima weapons that increases Brave and HP caps easily make him look real good. Like a kit like his with as many dumps as it has really shows you the difference between to the new meta about that revolves around caps and dumps. So like if you funnel a lot of because we always talk about ultimate weapons are unnecessary power creep, right? Everyone's like, oh, you don't need ultimate weapons to um clear content and they're unnecessary, blah blah blah. But for
We're
whale,
we're being called out. The brave hits are alternate, but the HP damage on the EX is full damage.
it's full damage split. Okay, then that's a good correction to have. But I know for sure the LD and the follow up are split.
Those are split
For
damage.
fucking sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for the correction. Who was it?
Everybody.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for the correction, everybody. So, but basically, like, right, everything's gonna be called unnecessary. I mean, people will call bursts unnecessary for a while, right? You didn't need them for like almost a year after they released.
Yeah.
But the point is, people will still pull for it because big numbers are fun. Let's be honest, guys. How many of you keep posting your highest burst phase damage screen? How many of those are on YouTube, right? And the fact that like Sid enables that, like he is a vessel to show you big numbers when you fully invest in Ultima weapons, is just a very funny mechanic, and I enjoy him for that. That being said, holy shit, split damage feels bad. It feels really bad right now.
It does.
And his debut event did not make him look good in that way. But again, if you like picking one DPS character and pumping him full of shit, like I mean, people did that with Reigns, right? Like Reigns as a solo DPS and just pumping shit into him. It's a fun experiment.
Well, looking at the
Oh, sorry, Mark. You said you felt like his stack was weird because he has to build it and then it releases on ally turns.
yeah, it goes off on ally turns instead of like
Yeah.
after his turn or before his turn or whenever. Yeah, I mean it's just different, right? I mean,
Yeah, I feel like this was made so that because every other character with this iteration, like Garnet or something, builds on anyone's turns, etc. They really the meta shifted so that people would only run turn hoggers with these characters. So they're really just sitting there,
yeah,
until you like turn hog the shit, like run Shulk or Vayne and get a ton of consecutive attacks just to set them off, and they got reduced to that. I feel like this was an attempt at a correction of that, where yes, they wanted Sid to take the turns, so they don't want him to just sit on the field while you like spam turn hoggers to activate the aura. I appreciate the attempt. I haven't done enough research to know how much this particularly comes back, but I do like that here are options. You will feel bad if you run Garnet in a team that doesn't have a turn hogger.
yeah, right.
Whereas Sid will not have that problem, right? Because he'll be running at that effectiveness whether or not. It's like just a different team building aspect, right? And like it's also the cool thing of, oh, it's its ally's turn, it's gonna trigger, let's battery Sid back up to full on my turn.
Right.
And then we get a good big follow-up as a reward for that.
Well, one of the people that corrected us was Sully Bell from the Tomberry Troop, and so you can check out the Tomberry Troop infographics on each of these. And Scott Ong, you can check out Scott on YouTube, says his call is actually, his LD call is pretty good. His base call actually is a pocket debuff, or pocket dispel, a pocket dispel, one dispel, one buff, which is whatever, but can be in handy. But his LD call is a attack, HP damage, elemental weakness damage up, overflow up, self-enchant wind, and resist wind down. So not a bad LD call too, if you're looking for something, if you're missing. And then a shout out to Quetzalmo from Tyriabot, and of course our good mod J.A for the podcast polls. If you want to tell us how you're polling, you can go to podcast polls across 10 servers on the Onion Knight Sarah banner. No one pitying the BT, one person pitying the LD, I assume Sarah. 19 people using tickets and 158 skips, and I think that's probably the least pulled on banner we've ever had, and well worth not pulling on. Meanwhile, over on Sid and Null, also not a lot of pulls. On 10 banners, 7 people pitying the BT straight out like fools. Mad respect to you, because I would do the same thing. 9 the LD, maybe Sid's LD, maybe Null's. 4 using gems, 123 tickets, and 40 skips. So yeah, a lot of people pulling on this banner, and I think that's fair. There's a lot of fun things on this banner as well. Well, let's talk about the fight, and if you're looking for help on the fight, you can come to our Discord. We have a channel, a help channel. We also have threads for every single Lufania Plus. Or you can go to our good friend Macnell's DecidiaInfo.com, and there is a boss guide that has Scott Ong's video guide. It has Excalibur's infographic and Destros team guide as well. Well, it's Divine Boards, friends. So what you do, I'm not going to rehash what Divine Boards are because we've done that quite a few times on the show. And so you can go back to the early Divine Board episodes and listen about what all that's about and start at the first one and work your way through. But we fight Divine Ifrit, and he has a fireball. The fireball starts with an orb that doesn't have a condition. It just ticks down. And when it ticks down to 0, the orb switches from the fireball to Ifrit. It goes down to 5. Ifrit's orb can be ticked up from brave damage if you unbreak him or if the boss takes a turn. So if you take a turn, it ticks down. If you let Ifrit take a turn, it ticks up. So obviously they want you to let him take a turn or do constant win brave damage on an extra attack that's not a counter. So that's like Sid's overhead attack. I'm not sure there's any other attacks that includes, but on Sid's overhead attack, that counts. And then unbreak, of course, that's Noel's gimmick as well. The orb is pretty much invulnerable, constantly heals. It's just there to be a pain in the ass, and that's what it does. They can inflict debuffs on you. So attack down, defense down, brave damage, speed down, fire resist down as well. They do buff themselves, and the orb, the fireball, buffs Ifrit with HP regen, and so they can regen a lot. There are also a trigger effects. So at 89%, and then there's a couple other, I think, things. Well, he will do damage. Like, you're not going to avoid, if you try to no-turn him, he will do damage. Divine Health Fire, at least at 89%. Maybe at some other times as well. If I'm looking at Excalibur's, it says 69% recovers from break and breaks all players. 49% AoE brave plus HP attack. Okay, there you go. 29% delays all players by 2 turns, so then gets to attack. And 9% skips multiple threshold results in multiple triggers. So, yeah. So there's a lot going on in the fight. That being said, it really does want you to allow Ifrit to take turns. And so the easiest way to deal with this is damage mitigation. We have a bunch of it. We've got Orin. We've got Snow. We've got Bosch is usable here. I'm not sure if there's been some Celeste runs. I saw Galif run. Zach is very usable here. There's a lot of, the thresholds are a little all over the place as well. But he will do damage to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so mitigate it, heal it, and you'll probably be okay. It's not the most challenging fight. I did it without Burst Bless and without Bursts, without a friend. I know a lot of other people have too. So, Mino, anything you want to talk about this fight?
Yeah, wait, what team did you use?
I used Core, Orin, and Lena.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to check. I quite enjoyed the fight. It had a lot going on, and every time a fight has a lot of mechanics, it means you have a lot of ways to approach it. So, for example, there's a regen that goes on Ifrit, 1%. You can either out DPS that, or you can dispel it.
Yep.
Or when the fireball orb goes off, your stats get drastically cut, unless Ifrit has exactly 4 debuffs on him.
Yeah.
Crazy specific mechanic, but I'm okay with that because you can either plan for that and debuff, or you can blow past that. Like, I think a lot of people brought like a Lena or something big support just to be able to just blow past it. Like, yeah, their stats were diminished, but raising caps and overflow still let them do pretty decent damage. And again, that revolved around the buffs. Like and that that also means you can't like put 8 debuffs, so he can't regen because then there was a lot of moving parts, which I like because it just means you have a lot of options to tackle the fight. And the DPS check, 28 mil was significant enough that it kind of restricted characters as well. I know people were either saying this was easy or more challenging than they thought. I'm on the opposite of Mark. I think I went in this pretty damn blind, or actually completely blind, and I was like, oh, this didn't roll over like a few of the other fights. I know there are very easy ways to stop it. Knowing that this fight requires mitigation, like Mark said, is a big one. Like you should bring some sort of source for it. But also just I feel like this check, this 28 million check with reductions is showing that, hey, unless your DPS are doing 500k plus damage a turn, they're not cutting it anymore.
Right.
And I know a lot of people did off turn for that. Yeah, that makes up for it. Right. It's
Right.
per character turn taken. But like, holy crap. Like, I think I tried to come in here with Wall and he's doing like 100k damage a turn. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this is very bad. Or like, because like he regens more than that. Uh, or like Onion Knight felt really bad because he was also doing 100k damage a turn. I don't know what they were smoking.
There's some chatter in chat. That the Japanese version of the game, Divine Ifrit, had about 10 million more health, and his regen was a lot more potent. I don't know if that's true or not, but there are some pretty big brain people talking about it. So I would, say that that's probably true if they're talking about it. There is launch resistance. Our good friend Cross. Check out Historia Crux on Tuesday night. Cross 13 defo. But huge launch resistance as well. So you got to take that into consideration. But yeah, keep going, Mino.
Oh, yeah. There's some chatter. We're gonna talk because now we're getting differing reports saying like, so we know for a fact. I know for a fact the fight was bugged on release. And I don't know how exactly it's bugged, but now some people are saying like the regen doesn't work as well. So well, when we get more information, we'll update. Yep. Okay. I trust Celibel.
Yeah.
As the final word. His team does the research. So Ifrit had more HP and JP, but did not have a regen. So it was much easier to just DPS through.
The regen didn't work, right? So.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. There you go. So whether or not dealing with the regen or 10 million more HP is harder for you is up in the air, I guess. Personal preference. To me, honestly, I think the regen. If you're doing 28 million, you can add another 10 million. Like if you're running Orin and Core, they're just gonna counter some more, right? Right. They're just gonna throw out some more counters. No problem. But like right. So a lot of people had a lot of different experience with this damage check. Either they were used to running like off turn or like Machina and blowing through it, or like people are starting to realize, hey, I can't just bring month-old units anymore. And like, yeah, no, like the new standard for DPS are really, because we said, look, if you take the 28 million divided by the 70 turns you get, everyone needs to be doing 400k damage a turn. That's not realistic for supports. Even some of your best supports like Lena are maybe averaging 150, 200k a turn, which means the DPS actually have to be doing 600 to 700,000 a turn, and that's a lot harder to manage than people think, unless you're definitely running off-turn damage, right? Because I think Goose was saying he did Shadow for a shit ton of counters and follow-ups.
I didn't dispel the regen, and obviously Core, Orin, and Lena were not doing 500,000 HP damage, but because of the off-turn damage.
Oh yeah, no, you count the off-turn damage, right?
It adds
like
up.
let's say Core does 200k on his turn, and then before it gets to his next turn, he's followed up like 5 times.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
a million damage per turn, right? Like it's per turn.
No, and
right?
that's what people don't understand, right? People have
yeah,
never understood that with Core, or characters like Orin who are doing counters. So yeah.
Right. So like the damage check either surprised you or you were used to running off turn and didn't notice, right?
There you go. Anything else about the fight, Mino?
I do think the invincible ad was a fun touch.
Yeah, no, I liked the fight. Again, I'm not 100% sure, and there was some different conversation about the thresholds. I just know, I mean, I didn't do any research before going into the fight. I looked at the orb. I'm like, what the hell is this orb? I know Macno was talking about like come on, the orb descriptions are way too long. But I'm like, what the hell do they want me to do with this orb? And then I saw boss takes turns +3. So I'm like, well, let's just bring some defensive characters and we'll just see what the boss does. And so that was my blind run that I recorded and uploaded on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, that's what they want you to do. And so, regardless, yeah, the boss is going to do damage to you at thresholds. And so if you're used to burning through it, that you can certainly burn through it with some big BT phases as well. So, but interesting. I liked it. It was a fairly quick fight. And so I'm always happy about that. Again,
I like the fight because I think you have two different orbs going off. There's an orb that can't be canceled. The invincible ad is fun too because that could have just been an aura, but it's literally there to take more turns and fuck your DPS who have split damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, did that gimp sit damage? Yeah.
Yes, Excalibur reminds us that everyone has synergy.
Yeah. And that's why I guess the number of dumps stood out even more for me because everyone was capping.
Yeah.
Very easily. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, again, if you're having trouble with the fight, you can come onto our Discord. We got people who are going to help you out, and just search through our threads. But I will say this: try the fight before you come and say, because we get this a lot. Who should I use on this fight? Well, you can just look in game now and see that. Try the fight, and then if you're struggling, be willing to then come and say, here's what's causing me a problem. I'm taking too much damage. Okay, well, what do you have? How can we deal with that? But a lot of people will come in and just want, hey, tell me how to beat the fight. No, that's not what we're about. That's not what our ethos at TCC is about. That's why we don't come on here every week and say, hey, bring this person, this person, this person. A lot of different ways to approach it. If you want to do that, you can come on, you can look down every Lufania Plus and see all the people's teams, all the clears, all the videos, and if that's how you want to do it, fine. But if you want help, let us know. Jin Lee, I think you should use no featured characters, no BTs, no friend unit, no blue armor, no ultimate weapons, no C90s, and also use Sylph Summon. So I would like you to use that, whatever that team. Everybody, shout out to our good friend Jin Lee. He's always making interesting stuff. Some questions. We got some minutes for questions. Unless, hey, is there a topic you wanted to talk about? I don't remember what I was angry about before the show started.
I never remember either. Unless you put it in the out, like if you didn't put violence in last week's outline, I wouldn't have remembered violence, right?
Yeah,
Unless it's in the outline, it's not getting talked about. I guess the only capstone I have is guys, the greatest upgrade C90 gives you is the ability to equip ultimate weapons.
Yeah.
You will fucking notice it when the stats only shoot up.
It's a big jump. Yeah. It's
massive. So like you can talk shit all you want about any of these C90 characters like Sarah or Sid, and then you slap an ultimate weapon on them and holy shit are they outperforming everyone else. So like just the ability to equip a C90 an ultimate weapon is basically your power creep.
Hey, CSDX makes a really good point. Everyone is welcome in our Discord server, but our Discord server is not, it is one of the largest Discord servers for Devo, but it is not main cord. You can join main cord. That's where everyone is welcome and they will tolerate a lot of things. Come into our Discord server with a humble heart, ready to learn and have a good time, because if you start stuff, we will ban you. It's nothing personal. Doesn't mean you can't listen to the podcast. Doesn't mean you can't participate in anything else. But yes, you will be thrown out if you start stuff and are a dick. So that's how it goes. And we just got demonetized. So because I said the D word. Sorry, YouTube. Pierre, edit that out. Hey, some questions. And if you want to come in, you can ask some questions. Or if you want us to answer questions right now, here's a good advice. Like if you're like, hey, you guys are streaming and I'm talking and you're not reading my things. Great. You know what's the best way to do that? You can sub, ask a question, become a member on YouTube, ask a question, or super chat, ask a question, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. We'll stop right here and we'll answer them. That's how much we love you. But looking at our podcast questions, because that's another way you can do it. Fact Cola asks, opinion on Final Fantasy, the trading card game. I love trading card games. I don't really play any currently, and I've never played the Final Fantasy one. Mino, have you?
Yes. I played it. I'm more of a TCG dabbler. I played a lot of different ones, but never one for super, super long. But like I have a lot of friends who do or even play professionally. I tried to introduce them to the Final Fantasy TCG just so I could try it out. None of them really liked it. I don't know if it's evolved a lot, but I know that we tried it out like at the beginning of the pandemic, so maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I remember like it's very aggressive, and you could win the game in like one turn out of nowhere because you could amass enough power to completely destroy your opponent, and they can't even see it coming. I'm sure maybe at higher levels of play, maybe with people knowing what they do, but I remember like a lot of the games were fast and brutal, and there was no way it would be like, oh shit, I didn't know they had that card that could literally ignore my strategy. Uh, so like it, I had fun with it. It's not something I would play for a long time, but like I know my friends who long term play TCGs, they did not super enjoy it. But if you have any thoughts you want to share on it,
I've never played it. So yeah,
we should try it then one time for our
there we
members only video.
Yeah, there we go. Members only. Hey, if you want to send me, hey, if anybody's listening out there, big fan of the TCC, the Final Fantasy trading card game, you want to send me a couple decks? I'll make a video and play them out. I'll get one of my kids and we'll test it out. And tell you how I've played lots of. I played Magic competitively. I played Highlander, the card game, trading card game competitively with world champions in our group, and so played lots of. I've played pretty much every card game that came out in that era, but played several of them fairly competitively. So I'd be more than happy to pick it up and tell you. Our good friend Inkwelder says, has the term day one player ever meant less in the game? I'm not sure that ever meant much. Like, just because you started playing a game doesn't really mean that you're good at it. like I started playing Final Fantasy 14 when it came out originally. Does that mean you can do Savage Raids? No. Doesn't mean jack or squat, right? I don't really understand where he's going with the abandoner thing. But does being a day one player, we're both day one players. Does that mean anything to you? I mean, we're obviously better than everybody, but besides that, Mino?
I'm gonna use this opportunity to shill the ranting hour. This is part 2 of that ranting hour. Go watch BC's ranting hour, yesterday's episode specifically. I feel like time invested is a very sad metric and a very sad thing to brag about. And I said yesterday, this seems to be an RPG player thing, where they think time invested equals power, because that's what an RPG is, right?
True.
Like in an RPG, you don't have to improve, because the character improves for you by time amount spent. So if you're saying, hey, I grinded 500 trash battles to level up, that's an accomplishment to an RPG player. I'm level 90 in every class in Final Fantasy, Mark. I play FF14 and I have every class at level 90. That's somehow an accomplishment, and not telling me that you
can't play any of them.
Telling me you spent at least 1,500 hours mindlessly grinding dungeons and doing roulettes. No, that's what you're telling me. That's not a skill accomplishment at all. It's not I'm challenger ranked in Street Fighter, or I play League of Legends and I, am in the top 100. It's I spent 2,000 hours doing mindless tasks until my numbers went up. I feel like it's very pathetic to think time invested means anything. Not like, hey, I've been at this company 40 years. I shouldn't take orders from you, Mr. Vice President, and I'm like a clerk. And I'm a clerk. I've ran the front desk for 40 years. How dare you tell me how to do my job,
me,
Mr. CEO, who's only been here for 5 years? But no, I'm going to strongly reiterate. I think anyone who uses time spent as a metric, a fucking loser.
There you go. Cross 13. Again, check out Historia Crux on Cross's channel. So with that new GL exclusive countdown event coming here in a couple days, are you looking forward to how they will make a fight interesting, like how Lena's LD fight was interesting last month? I hope they do something interesting. We know that we are going to get a GL potentially exclusive or first fight. We are going to get a Lufania and Lufania Plus. So hopefully it's something new, something exclusive, and something fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to anything they throw us that might throw us for a loop, so that people can't go on YouTube and copy JP videos and claim how good they are. What about you, Mino?
My stance has always been just throw lockouts and mechanics at us. Don't be afraid to overdo it. I honestly don't be afraid to overdo it. I know there are some fights in the games people thought were overdone. Like, what was the last tier we had? T6?
Yeah.
T10 again in JP, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But the clear rates are still there. They're still high-ish. Like, I think, like, if you make very difficult content and at least 20% of the player base is clearing it, that's a pretty decent clear amount. Even if you don't, they can get there eventually. Even if they don't, they can spend. And even then, it's memorable. People will talk about it forever.
Yeah.
Look how much T5 haunted us with the Bart's Imperil thing for a year, right? Like, it builds up hype. People will remember the difficult stuff, and they'll feel more accomplished or spend more. I feel like you can't overdo it. Don't underestimate your player base. Just make it hard, Like, just throw mechanics at the wall or lockouts. I don't care. Either one is sure to make it memorable.
Just Adam asks, would you like to see some slight orb requirement changes to Lufania fights to spice things up in garbage time? And I guess we're kind of talking about the same thing with this fight, because he references Lena LD. Yes. I think we both, whatever they do that's different, we'll take it, right? Frog asks, what are your most memorable college experiences?
The fuck?
That's that might be a post-show conversation. So let's hold that.
Yeah, that's not like We'll save that for post-show.
Let's hold that for post-show.
Defo stuff for the podcast. Yeah.
How Silocons asks, how do you see yourself acting after Defo? So after you quit Defo, I can't imagine I will be any different. Maybe I'll play a different game. Has Defo changed your life? I know Final Fantasy 14 has changed so many people's lives. Has Defo changed your life, and will you be any different after Defo's dead and buried?
All right, so this might be shocking to people, but when I graduated from my high school, I didn't hang around my high school for another 2 years. And when I graduated from college, I didn't hang around college for another 3 years. When I left my last job to promote to this one, I didn't hang around the offices for another 5 years. I know this is a very shocking concept. So
to be fair, I know that guy. Like I know that guy.
Yeah, those people exist.
Like,
hell, they exist in this community, right?
In every example you just said, I know that guy. It's not a good look. And Silocons, yes, I did not read your question as you wrote it, because obviously. Hey, what's your favorite donut? My favorite donut is the Dunkin' donut. They don't call it the Dunkin' donut at all right now. They call it the old-fashioned. Used to be called the Dunkin' Donut. It had a little knob on it. You can dip it in your coffee. It is an old-fashioned cake donut. Man, nothing like that old-fashioned cake donut with a cup of coffee. Just hits the spot. Do you like a good donut, Mino?
I'm not a big donut guy, but
No.
I just remember that 7-Eleven did that promotional Simpsons donut when that
Oh,
Simpsons movie was
yes,
out, and I
yes.
quite enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
disgusting,
No, it
but
was good. It was
I got it
good.
a few times. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Blart asks, is J.A as mysterious and handsome as he seems? 100%. He is just a phenomenal specimen of a man. Very charming, very charismatic. Just the women and the men and the children and the old ladies and the old men and everybody in between just loves him. And will this question buy me any measure of safety? No, not at all. But you know what will buy you safety? Liking, subbing, ringing the bell for notifications, becoming a member for 99 cents. I think that will be the best way to do that. Yes, go ahead.
J Dota, I can't. I think I no joke have asked him for picks before. I think I've asked everyone for picks before. He's never shown it to me, so I can't comment on the handsomeness.
Yeah.
But I can comment on the mysteriousness. J Dota never tells me his pull plans, and I have no idea what his gem count is.
I know, yeah,
and
it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know what characters he uses for what fights, and I don't know how he's going to invest his ultimate weapon cores. So he's very mysterious because he doesn't randomly broadcast his defo plans and itinerary to me, which makes him better in my book than most of you guys.
He may not even play the game for all we know.
Yeah, like I don't need to hear about it,
Like,
and
yeah, no.
I don't know,
We assume
and
he
that
does.
makes me like him a lot more than most of you guys, right? Like that, yeah.
Yeah, reverse blog. That is literally reverse
I
blog.
don't know how many tickets he spent on what character, and I'm
No
better
idea.
off for it. He
No
respects
idea.
my time,
No idea.
and I'm here for it.
On some of the skill animations, I think Mino pointed out before, Blasting Zone. Do you think the devs will ever revisit and change skills animations to get them a little bit better? Which one would you like to see change? So the devs are fairly lazy. They're not lazy.
Wow, that's rude.
They're not lazy, but
rude.
they're not going to fix. They're not going to
That's
fix
rude.
things that aren't broken. But is there any animations that you would like to be changed? I don't care enough.
Oh, you're asking me? Okay. Yeah. So I don't expect any animation changes. So the fact that some people got them, like Garnet EX, Rydia EX, they used to not have the actual summon, right? No Alexander, no Mist Dragon. And Aphmau got 2 tweaks to her animations. The fact that some of these animations get updated at all, I'm very fucking impressed by, because I expect nothing.
Right.
That being said, the FF4 characters that released before the technology was invented in this world to let you show 2 different characters in a single attack, a lot of them are cloning themselves, right? Like it's so funny when Theodore BT comes out and his like moves are still clones of himself, but his BT effect, Kane, actually comes out. But like his other stuff is so good, or it's so funny that Yang clones himself. But in Ursula, they do similar attacks with both of them side by side.
Right.
But like if any animations need to be changed, it's the FF4 cast and having their proper counterparts instead of cloning themselves.
Right.
Because it's but that's what I would like to see changed. But if it never happens, I expect nothing. I'm fine. I understand. That's not a priority. But like, yes, those should be the first to be fucking changed.
So our final question of the evening. When comparing the token costs of the different orbs in the Ursula and a free co-op shot, the mithril tokens are 30 times the value of silver tokens and seem to be consistent. However, the exchange rate of the crystals seems inconsistent between the two. Why would they make it more expensive to get crystals from the co-op, even though they are easily farmable in Cycle Quests? I don't know if part of that is just now the new Cycle Quests, because the Ursula event was the old Cycle Quests. Now this is the Ifrit's new Cycle Quests. Or if things are just stupid, and why would you get crystals from co-op at all? I know a lot of people grind co-op incessantly. Like, man, I do like if I can get away with doing 5 co-ops and being done, I'm done. Like I don't need like I pick up exactly what I need. I haven't gotten crystals in the co-op shop for like 2 years. I have never I wasn't waiting for these new cycle quests. I'm like literally like, you know, co-op's awful, and chaos co-ops are even more worse than awful. So I don't want to do that. And I use 3 times books all of the time for everything. I value my time. Mino, any thoughts about why perhaps crystal things are weird?
I wouldn't fret about it. It's all extra. I mean, it's there literally so you have something to dump your tokens in.
Yeah.
Anyways, because like you said, you could just farm cycle quests, right? It's like, why do I get Gil from any content that isn't the Golden Cacti cycle quest? Like, if I wanted Gil, I can just farm the Golden Cycle quests, but the game gives you Gil anyway. Just view it as a bonus, right? Like, not a big deal. It's not hard to cap orbs. I would hate for you to lose sleep over the different random costs of orbs in the shops.
I can't say I would have noticed ever if you hadn't said anything.
Me neither. But like honestly, at the end of the day, don't let this bother you. It's easy to cap orbs if you need to. Just view it as a bonus. Just view it as you're running co-ops for the co-op rewards, for the missions. Clean out the shop. If you have extra left over, pick up the orbs. Don't even think about it.
So I mean I want to. No, we're done with questions unless somebody throws some money here, and we'll move to the post show. So we're ending up the episode, but like again, I just want to kind of reiterate that, like this. I'm going to be honest. This is kind of my main game. Like, I know we talk about that, we joke about that. So, you know, my youngest son, I bought the Spider-Man Game of the Year, the one that came out a few years ago, the PlayStation Spider-Man game. I bought the Game of the Year edition. My youngest son's old enough where he's really interested. He loves Spider-Man, and so he's been playing that. And every once in a while, you know, he's only 7. Every once in a while, he'll be like, "Dad, I can't beat this boss," or "I don't know how to do this. What's it asking me to do?" And so I've been playing. So last night he had a fight that he just was having trouble with, just terrible. It was you know, he had to fight Vulture and Electro at the same time. He was just having a terrible time with it. So I got it, and you know, it took me a couple tries to figure out what the gimmick was, and I beat it. Well, the reason I don't play video games like that, console video games, the reason I gave up playing fighting games a long time ago, I loved fighters. The reason I don't play a lot of action games, I like Devil May Cry, that kind of action game, is because I have terrible tendonitis. And so, like, all day today, I've had just exceptional pain all the way, like, up and down my hands. So like, and I used to get it when I was in orchestras and stuff too. So that's why I don't really play anymore either. And so for me, you know, playing a phone game, you know, I have kids, I have family, you know, so playing the phone game is fine. I mean, that's really my main game. You also know that I do play Final Fantasy XIV with my friends every week as well. And so those are really the only 2 video games I play. That being said, I don't need to play Tifo for like 10 hours a week. Like, I am more than content with 15 minutes a day, and then every once in a while, a week, maybe twice a week, an hour to play an event. I'm okay with that because there's other things I can do, like work, play games with my kids, like board games, like, you know, card games. I can read a book. I can go see people. I can call somebody on the phone. You know, I can do a podcast, make content, things like that. So I'm okay with that. And I think that's okay. I don't know, you know, there's a lot of people that want to find a lot of more interesting things to do with this game. And some of you do. And I think that's great. You do that. But the people who get upset that there's not more to do, it's a phone game. Like, it's a phone game. It's okay. You know, download Wordle, whatever that game is that people are playing. I see that everybody's posting their Wordle. Like, I didn't ask. What's BC always say? I didn't ask. Who asked to see your Wordle thing on Facebook? I didn't need that. I don't know what that is even. And I'm not going to download it because I don't want to do things boomers are doing on Facebook. So there you go.
It is a boomer game, isn't it?
It gotta be. It's like, I can't imagine. Yeah. Who asked? I didn't ask for your Wordle score today, Bill. I don't know what a Wordle is, and the magic things that you showed me don't mean anything to me. So now I understand why everybody else like I don't care how many tickets you had, but people do, so because they watch it. Mino, Eamon says Wordle is dope, so we're gonna ban him real quick. So join our Discord to watch that. That's gonna be great.
Eamon, you make it so hard to root for you, buddy.
Yeah,
like
you just
I try,
really,
man.
really. I was just saying nice things about you, Eamon, before the show, and there you go.
And now you think
There you go. Yes, you just had to open your mouth. There you go. Mino, anything else before we end the show and move to the post show and talk about bad college decisions? Okay.
Nah,
hey,
I'm tired.
Again, thank you all for joining us. Hey, we had a great group here tonight. I really appreciate every single one of you. You make it so much more fun. Back when we started this podcast, and it was me and Pierre and Mino in chat, things have, if there's a couple hundred people here across YouTube and Twitch, that's a lot more fun. I love to read all your stuff. I do read all this stuff. I don't respond to it always, but I do really enjoy all of you. Again, like, sub, follow. Thank you. Jump on Discord. We have a great time. We have a great community. And until next time, friends, this has been episode 183 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded on the 13th of January. Good luck on your mysterious banner pulls, whatever they're going to be later this week, and we'll talk all about it next week. Goodbye. All right, we are in the post show, and the answer for the post show was episode 149. We got 51 subs in that one episode. I don't remember what we were doing. But that's what Poto says, and I believe him because that's why I don't pay him for things. Oh, I'm in the wrong channel here, Mino. I'm sorry. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, we're in the post show.
51 subs. Pretty sure that was for you to pity a burst.
Episode 149 would have been, yeah, I mean, it may have been to pity a burst. Is that Lions? I don't know that Mino was in that episode even. Let me look back if I can dig that up on the simulcast and kind of see what the podcast numbers are looking good. A lot of people listening to the podcast. On your favorite podcast app. Let me look at episode 149 real quick. Waka. Oh, it was a burst. Yeah, it was Onion Knight pity. I pitied Onion Knight's BT. Or Yishtola or whatever that was, right? Whoever was with Waka. Who was with Waka in that era? Yeah, Waka. Where's Waka? I should just scroll by. Yeah, that was Yishtola. Thank you. I can't believe you all understand that. What did we do? What did we force Mark to do? My sweater looks comfortable. It is. Where's my camera here? This is my my Echo Base hoodie. So Star Wars Echo Base hoodie. It is very. I just spilled water all over myself. But it is very. I came in my My wife bought me that was Yishtola. Thank you all. My wife bought me a subscription box called the Galaxy Box, Star Wars Galaxy Box. And it's one of those, they send you random stuff I think it's about every 3 months. And so this month was Echo Base theme for Empire Strikes Back. And so this hoodie came in it really nice. All the clothes that have come in the boxes have been really high quality. Really cool coffee mug, a tauntaun like foldable bag, reusable like grocery bag. That one of my favorite things. There's a metal sign that is a really kind of like behind the scenes blooper thing, because in cut scenes or in deleted scenes from Empire Strikes Back, there's this, they're walking through the hallways, and there's this sign on the wall, and it reads, in, of course, the Star Wars language, beware Wampa. And so, and because there's a whole scene, like a whole cut storyline in Empire Strikes Back where Wampas are attacking Echo Base. And so it's a beautiful recreation of that sign. It's really cool. So, but yeah, it comes, there's like 8 to 10 things in each box, but this was definitely the price of the box. Really high quality hoodie, and I love all my Star Wars hoodies. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. And thank you, Joey, yes, for remembering that was, in fact, Y'shtola. That was a violent episode. I have to go back and look at that. Mino.
Yeah.
Did you want to share any... What was the question specifically?
Crazy college experience?
What is your most memorable? I can't even share my most memorable college experience without this getting completely demonetized. So,
just upload it differently, right? Cut the video.
No, yeah, it's on. Yeah, I'd have to like end the stream. Wow. Thank you, Indolent Lard, for all that you do. I truly appreciate you. Oh, can I give you a link to that subscription box? I don't know. I didn't order it. I will look for it. I believe it's called the Galaxy Box. Culturefly. Yep, culturefly.com. Here we go. I'm going to put it in Twitch chat for you. That's a huge freaking link. But the company is called Culturefly. I'll put it in YouTube chat too. It's a huge stupid link, but there you go. Culturefly is the name of the company that does that. It's a really, I think it's maybe $50 per, so it's like a couple $100 a year, but really high quality stuff for what you're paying. But Nidre, what's your most memorable college experience?
Oh God.
Nidra, are you gonna stream your FF14 adventures here now?
I don't have to stream it now. This is the post show. This is a sacred place.
Well, one semi-rememberable thing that I think I can talk about. I'm trying to think about how I could talk about the other one that comes to mind immediately. I had lots of memorable. I had a very good college experience. I know earlier in our Discord there was some comments about peaking in high school. That's awful. I can't even imagine if high school were the best years of your life. I did have a very good college experience. I lived at my college for 4 years. I made lifelong friends. The people that I play Final Fantasy 14 with are some of my best friends. They're from college. We live together, still connect every single week. And so I'm so grateful for the things that I learned in college, all that kind of stuff. And, I just had a lot of friends, dated, very big gaming group in college and learned a lot of stuff and just had a lot of fun. And we had some pretty crazy adventures. But yeah, one memorable night I think this was my senior year. So my senior year in college, one of our friends opened a bar in town. I went to college in a small town. The town was about 2,500 and 1,600 of those people went to the college. So everything on the college is 150 years old. 150, 60 years old now, I guess. Very old. Everything's landmark status. Beautiful, beautiful college. So he opens a bar downtown. So we spend a lot of time at his bar. And we play games because we know role playing and other things. He played Magic. We played games at the bar and before the hours and everything else. And so we started a thing. My best friend Corey and I, we started a thing called the bar was called the Hilltop, and we started Fall from the Hilltop. So they had like 80 to 100 liquors on the shelf, and so we said by the end of the year, and this is our senior year, we're going to have one shot of every single one of the liquors, on the shelf in the well. one of every, and so kind of like a like a dumb like a TCC challenge, except stupid. So one night, and my friend Corey and I are there at we get there at like 3:00. So like classes are over, we go down to the bar, because you get like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, then all the all the hipster kids come, and it's dance party, and I who cares about that kind of stuff. I just wanted to drink and be done with life, and so hey, 21 is great. And so we're sitting at the bar, and it was I believe it was gin and whiskey night, and in the order of things. And so I had a sandwich, chicken cordon bleu sandwich. I remember it vividly because one of the best chicken cordon bleu sandwiches Crosby made, the chef there, amazing. Shout out to Crosby. Great cordon bleu sandwich. And 13 shots of hard liquor in the course of about an hour.
Oh.
And my friend did in the course of an hour or two, but he had them mixed drinks. I just straight up drank them straight. The Everclear, the night we drank straight shots of Everclear, that was also a fun night. But this night, the 23 shots of like gin, vodka, and whiskey straight in the course of an hour was a rough night.
I see.
And so we left. So I guess I need to preface the story by saying the school where I went to college was one course at a time. You took one course for 3.5 weeks, did all your finals, all your research, stopped, then had a couple days off, then you did another course. Did that 9 times a year to graduate.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Never
it was
heard of
wonderful. I loved it. There's only 2 colleges that do that, one in Iowa, one in Colorado, to my knowledge. So because to graduate, you didn't need to do 9 actual classes a year. You really only needed to do 8. My friend and I had the entire month off, but we stayed at school because we're seniors, and our best friend, one of our good friends owns a bar, and what the hell else are we going to do? So this is finals week for everyone except us. And we have decided on the weekend before finals start the next day, we are going to go and get plastered, and we did. And then we found our way back to campus because we had to walk down to the bar, obviously. We found our way back to campus. I have no idea what happened to my friend. I lost several hours, and someone found me in the bathroom and got me to, so like our TAs and like all the people, like the dorm folks and our friends, like everybody, my girlfriend at the time, everybody like taking care of us, looking for us, wondering where the hell we are. We like ruined everybody's night, made whether I was wearing clothes or not is not important. I know I may have thrown up on everything, so I was probably not wearing a lot of clothes. But really, again, ruined pretty much everybody's night. And I lived, and we found Corey, and
we lived,
and we did it all again next week. So, but yeah, so that was memorable in the sense of I remember parts of that night, and then some nights I don't. Yeah, good time. So the lesson is don't drink that much alcohol. I guess. I mean, there were literally no consequences for me, just everyone else. So I guess there really isn't any lesson to the story. Be me and don't have any consequences. So it's great. You should try it.
Good players don't suffer consequences.
Good players don't suffer. Good players pull weapons. Good players.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
No, my most memorable experience involves a night with 3 women, but that's a different, like, I think that's way too different.
Mark, you're a priest.
I am, yes, in these days.
He didn't say what he was doing.
He had a lot
of
D&D or something.
He had a lot of sin to make up for.
I did. I was not a priest at that time. I did not specifically say what was going on in that situation, yes.
He was playing video games.
I was, yeah, we were playing video games. Yeah.
I legitimately, I guess. What was the question?
Like memorable college experience.
Oh, because I did have one time where I brought a girl back to my room to smash, and I told her that, but then we actually just played Smash Bros. So I didn't like her, so I just
That's awesome.
I beat her ass in Smash 4 for like an hour, and then she told her friend because it was two girls, and then one girl left, and she's like, "So," and I was like, "What?" That was a fun. And she lived across the hall from me, so when she left, I could hear her like screaming in her room, and like, "What's wrong with this?"
Oh, you kids and your Smash Brothers.
Oh man, that was a fun time. I also have drinking stories where my idiot friends over the summer and I wasn't much of a drinker. I'm still not now, but we decided to mix alcohol. What's the thing? Light before dark or dark?
Yeah.
Whatever you're not supposed to.
Beer
do.
before liquor, never sicker.
Yeah, we did the wrong thing, and we mixed like Captain Morgan and Coke, and then like Hawaiian Punch and vodka.
Nice.
And then we put it in a giant bowl, and I just woke up later. I don't know how I ended up in the bathroom, but I was there. I was like, "Whoa, I need to chill."
Yeah, it got pretty bad our senior year. Corey and I lived together. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Yeah. Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so we literally went down to the grocery store and bought cases of Boone's Farm. If you're not familiar with Boone's Farm, I don't even know. It's like a hard seltzer. Like I'm trying to think of like what kids today would drink. So think of like a hard seltzer, except it's in a wine bottle, and it cost $1. And so we would drink like one of those in between classes, like for lunch, and like we would drink a case of Boone's Farm like every week. Not good decisions on our parts. A lot of dead brain cells. Yeah, I do remember my junior year, 4 of us lived together, and all 3 of those guys are in my wedding. Good friends. One of them is older than us, and he's one of the guys that I play Final Fantasy with, and then Final Fantasy 14. Then the other one, my friend Corey, who I just talked about, we lived together, and then we had another one of our friends, Kevin. And Kevin turned 21 that year, and so we brought him down to the bar. Or I guess maybe the next year he turned 21, and we made him drink. He had already been drinking, of course, like a while, but we made him drink an Irish bar fight, which is the idea behind the Irish bar fight is you take all of the alcohol that you have and you throw it in a thing, like just a glass, like whatever alcohol you have, you just throw it in a glass. I guess traditionally it'd be like Jameson and a little bit of this and that, Guinness and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But the idea was like all the alcohol that was left over on the bar, you like mix in a glass, and then you light a cigarette, you let it go down to ash, and then you use the ash cigarette to mix the drink together and then shotgun it. And we got him to do that. Yeah, that's a real thing. We got him to do that, and it did not turn out well for him. He immediately projectile vomited everywhere. It was hilarious. Don't drink that, friends. If someone asks you to drink an Irish bar fight, don't do that.
Yeah, respect yourself. Christ.
Did I mention that I was not always a good person?
Has that changed? I mean,
no, it's not particularly.
Wow, that's
not at all.
That's impressive.
I'm waiting for Mino's. What was college like at In-N-Out University?
I didn't go to college. Easy pass. Nidre?
I'm trying to think of anything that's really that exciting in college. Again, I was probably even more boring. You know, if you're talking about not drinking, I didn't really do much drinking, but.
To steal the spotlight back, Nidre, I'm gonna agree with Nidre and be like, I can't really remember anything super crazy in the college
you
years.
Were drunk.
My craziest years were literally after college, when it was like extended dorm living, but with people you like. Like like for the few years out of college, I was living in like houses with like 8 fucking people, like big ass houses with like 8 people. And all the crazy stories I had were there. But in college itself, I didn't have any like great college stories. Anyways, back to you, Nidre.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything too exciting. Most of them are like, not like, oh, this person drank a crazy drink or anything like that. But I guess the first story that's coming to mind is the first time that I used something that is not a legal drug everywhere. In some states, it is nowadays.
Cocaine.
You can fill it. You can fill into your mind what that might be. I just remember.
Did you chase the dragon?
No. Where is that legal? Where do you think that's legal?
I don't know. In heroin dens in the 1800s.
Oh my god!
When did you think I went to college?
You're a fish. I don't know how old you are.
Nidre's either based on his voice, he's really old, and then based on his proclivity for fart jokes, he's really young.
Yeah.
So it could be anywhere. Like people make fun of Ink for his like crap jokes, but Nidre makes a lot of fart jokes. So is he really?
No, it's just because we were doing the part of the game where literally what you're doing is collecting farts. First
of all, nobody. You're the only person I know who refers to it as collecting farts.
I didn't even come up with it.
And then the second thing is, you don't leave it there. You make several fart jokes all the time.
FF14 counted. Is that 5? I think now.
Mark brought it up. Nidre brought it up.
Right.
I liked the counting farts, collecting farts. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean they're big green clouds. I cannot be the first.
Are your farts green?
To come up with that.
Are your farts green?
But in cartoons they are.
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. Idiot. Come on.
Are you serious? You guys, you're seriously. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Held. Jesus.
Right,
My brain's fried.
Get wrecked, idiot, as Nidre would say.
Yeah, really. I destroyed myself. Oh, God.
Pause.
You just can't speak that well. That's all. You got to understand.
It's late. My brain is... the hamster that is my brain running on the treadmill is like at a terrible pace right now.
Hamster, that is.
I was telling myself, all right, no post-show today. You're tired, but here I am.
Yet here you are.
I'm thinking back through all of my stories, and it's actually just alcohol. It's all alcohol related.
Yeah, I will. I will say that the vast majority of my college, in my college, we didn't have sororities or fraternities. We had what's called social clubs, which were for sororities and fraternities, and there was a very small. Traditionally, it was a chess club. And they had become kind of a gaming group, but it was very, very small. Some of my friends and I got involved in it. We kind of took over the group. It became the largest group on campus, and it became a gaming group. And so we got together every week, and we played different games, and we had different role playing games, and we spawned like a video gaming group and like a Renaissance group that was big into the, sword fighting stuff and things like that. And there's an anime group that came from that group. And so, I mean, a lot of that, the things we did and the fun things we had special dances and scavenger hunts and like fun weekends that we basically our own little like Gen Con thing that we set up every year. And all that stuff was obviously the best. And the friendships that we made along the way. I did graduate, I guess, with a degree or a couple of degrees. So that was important, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that most of my friends who graduated, I think of all of the people in my group, kind of maybe within a couple years older than me or younger than me, there's only 2 of us that I know of that really use our college degree for anything. Like everybody else could have just like skipped college or or it's just something they needed to do. And both of us have like graduate degrees to do what we do, so kind of sucks. I wouldn't necessarily encourage anybody to go to college.
So did you do that like Renaissance like LARPing stuff ever? Or?
Yeah, so I so it wasn't, there was an actual like I what did we call it? What was the group called? So our group was called Chess and Games, and it was C&G we called it. And so it was a big group. There's about 150 of us. I don't know if you've ever picked this up. That's just kind of what I do in terms of community kind of follows around it. It's what I do professionally. It's just wherever I've gone, we just make community and it happens. But and so we did, we played Magic, board games, tabletop games, role-playing games, all that. But there was the Renaissance group that did kind of like Ren Fair stuff. Like they would go to different Ren Fairs. They would do actually like one of the this is just, it is what it is. The Japanese teacher.
Whoa!
The teacher who taught Japanese. The Japanese arts teacher. She taught all the Japanese language classes and all the Japanese history classes and everything else. She's from Japan, and she was a very accomplished sword fighter. And so, they would train with her and do things like that. It's actual fencing and things like that, and sword play. But I did at some point towards the end of college, they started Amp Guard, which is like the foam weapon stuff. So I if that's what you're talking about, like the LARPing with real weapons. I hate LARPing, first of all. And the group of gamers who kind of were in charge of C&G, and there was only a couple, like maybe a dozen or so of them. They were all LARPers, and the weird LARP, the Columbine LARPers, like the trench coats and questionable decisions LARPers. Yeah, like they were not the best kind of people. They were fine, but they were definitely outsiders, and our group became much more inclusive. And so I did try Amp Guard a few times. And as somebody who trained in martial arts for a long time, I do like to, fight, but, LARPers are the worst. No offense if you like to LARP. It's never been my
what martial arts did you do?
I did, Taekwondo and Hapkido. For the time I was Korean martial arts. Fairly young, probably 6th grade, maybe 11, 12, all the way through college. And so, those were the martial arts. We did a little bit. I trained with adults, and so they had some different trainings and, Kempo and different kind of schools of boxing and wrestling and things like that. So picked up a little thing here and there. But so, going out on a field and hitting people with foam swords was kind of fun because it's physical and you get to run around, and hitting people with things is fun. But it wasn't like super like exciting to me. So that was a long answer to say, yeah, I'm not a big fan of LARPing.
Anything else interesting I did? Why is it all alcohol and girls related?
To be fair, alcohol and girls are pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was college. There was the time I thought I was an anime protagonist. I could try and date 2 girls at once. That ended up horribly.
Did that work out well?
It was going well. I thought it was. But then one girl, other alcohol related, I got so drunk that I couldn't remember anything. And then she said something to me that she still to this day refuses to tell me. She's like, I'm glad you don't remember. But now that drives me insane at least once a year. And the other girl blocked me from. I got snitched on by another one of my people I thought I was friends. What I was trying to do.
Oof.
Yeah. So then they told the story wrong. Because technically, I wasn't dating anyone. I was just exercising my options. But yeah, so far.
Exercising my options.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that what dating is? Isn't dating exercising your options?
People have different definitions.
They do, because when I think about dating, it's like, yeah, dating is like you date people. Like that's what dating is.
That's why I thought I was an anime protagonist. I remember specifically I felt like I was fucking Light Yagami from Death Note, because one girl gave the less attractive girl gave me a cupcake, and then I gave it as a present to the more attractive girl. Like,
Oh,
I'm the shit.
nice. Nice.
I was like, yes, I'm so good.
I am the best. That's
You thought
hilarious.
you invented regifting?
No, I'm telling you, I was way too high off my own farts. And there was some. It was actually, I guess it was kind of karma because there was one of my other boys who I knew liked the more attractive girl, and I knew that she was using him to get her homework done, and I just let it happen. And I used him as a flirting point. And I'm like, all right, go talk to him. He'll help you. I got better shit to do. Oh yeah, it was just karma ultimately. I dug my own grave there.
So the lesson we learned is don't date more than one person, or do.
Or if you're gonna do it, do it better than I did.
Do it well.
Yeah.
I was gonna say about the Ren Fair stuff, the like LARPing or whatever. Which I guess are two separate concepts. But
Yeah, well, I
somewhat
love I like Ren fairs. Like I like doing that kind of stuff. I love medieval times isn't Ren Fair, but I like medieval times. I like going to the Ren Fair, Bristol Renaissance fairs up north of us, and that kind of stuff is fun. I respect like your Civil War like reenactment kind of people. I mean, that's a type of person that really enjoys that, I think. But it's just not for me. Nothing wrong. We all got our things. Are you a big Ren Fair thing, Nidre?
Oh no, I was just gonna say the main point I was gonna make was if you've never watched the movie Role Models before, I don't know if anybody here has watched that, but probably somebody in the chat has. I would imagine somebody was watching this live. It's a really good movie, and part of it is about like LARPing stuff. So I recommend you go out and watch it. I think you would enjoy it, Mark. That's what I'll say.
I do enjoy movies. That's for sure.
It's got Paul Rudd is one of the main guys in it. He's like the main guy, I think.
I like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's a likable guy.
Role Models is the name
Role
of the film.
Models. Yeah, Role Models. I think that's what it is. Let me go look it up just to double check.
It's on Hulu right now. Yeah, you're talking about the right movie.
I have the Hulu.
Yeah. It's and it has McLovin in it too. That's if you remember from
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sean William Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jane Lynch, Elizabeth Banks, David Wayne. Yeah, it's a pretty good cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby J. Thompson.
I imagine you're a big Galaxy Quest fan. I'm assuming you've seen that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Great film. Galaxy Quest. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a classic too.
Yeah. Great film.
I'm always trying to look for like the ones that are kind of like not the big deal movies, but like ones you probably didn't watch but are surprisingly good. I think that's a good genre to take a look at. Good classification of movie. Sorry, this is less interesting probably to most people than the whole like what kind of salacious shit did you get up to in college? So
yeah,
sorry about that, but
I remember having to drag one of my friends across the dorm because again he was drinking and we were supposed to drink, but he drank the whole bottle and I was out with the girl. And then I get a phone call like, yo, like, he needs help. Like, he's on the ground. And he's, like, cursing us out and asking for french fries. And then he just KO'd. And he lived on the other side of the dorm. So we kind of had to drag him on the floor to his room so he could sleep because we weren't about to have him sleep in our rooms. That was a fun time.
Yeah, one of my friends, one of my good friends that I play Final Fantasy 14 with, what was he drinking? He drank so much one night that he woke up the next day and was still drunk. Went back to sleep and woke up and was still drunk. And this is a man who has a pretty good tolerance for alcohol. And that was interesting. I don't know I can't remember what he was drinking. We used to do this thing. So again, the C&G was a very open group. It became a very inclusive group. There were people of all genders and orientations, and people who liked video games, and people who liked anime, and people who liked LARPing, and people who liked tabletop, and people who liked card games, and people who liked chess, and people who didn't like any games but just wanted somebody to hang out with. And we did lots of different things. Like I said, we had a big Gen Con, which is a gaming convention named after Jennifer, one of the founders of our group many years ago. And we did a big kind of dance festival where it included a scavenger hunt and a dance and a kind of party, and that was a lot of fun. But we also did kind of things throughout the year. We were in charge of the gaming cabinet. We did some community outreach and stuff like that. But we had a couple things like, incoming freshmen, we always did big sandwich, big movie night. So we would buy a giant sandwich from Subway and feed the freshmen and invite them in, get to know them a little bit. We did a fireball night with the movie Aliens. We would watch the movie Aliens, and every time a space marine dies in the movie Aliens, you put an atomic fireball, which is the hot candy, in your mouth. And at one point in the film, I think you have like 13 of these atomic fireballs in your mouth. That's one of my favorite candies. But if you have 13 atomic fireballs in your mouth, you will actually burn the inside of your mouth. And so we did that because it was fun. Yeah. And then one of the things we did, which often got us into trouble, we had what was called, and we usually invited some of the upperclassmen, invited the younger classmen to do this. We had beer pizza porn night. So we would literally we would literally go out, buy beer, order pizza, and then take the freshmen to the adult bookstore and buy like the dumbest, stupidest pornography that existed, like Super Mario themed porn, or just like the most obscure, stupid stuff. Yeah, just like it's just over the top stuff. Yeah, and sometimes that got a little. They kept that tradition on for decades after. It was so inappropriate. But it was it's a nice fun. Nothing brings men closer together than, and we invited girls too. Sometimes they showed up. We had some very strange women in our group. Just gonna throw that out there. But good times, good memories. And I'm glad I'm not in college anymore.
Yeah, same. Just thinking back, if all my most memorable things required alcohol, then that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's.
'Cause I definitely peaked doing that stuff, and then I got tired of it after like a year, and I was just a fucking recluse the rest of my college.
That's to be fair, I feel like the point of college for most of the time. It's to test boundaries.
Get out of your system.
Everyone
Well,
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people in college, a lot of like my friends in college were like kind of sad to leave it, because a lot of people will tell you like college is the best time in your life, and maybe for some people it is.
It shouldn't be. If it is, then you did something wrong.
Well,
But
yeah.
I mean, I feel like what people would ask me, like, after I just graduated, like, what do you think of being out there in the real world? And I said, well, for me, some people at this point in time, some people it wasn't as easy to get a job as it is now, and so some people maybe had it worse off. I don't know, but I said to them, college, real life is basically like college, except you don't have to take any classes you don't want to. You just basically have to do what you want almost all the time, and you get paid money to do it. So it seems, and there's no homework. So all in all, a lot better. 90% happy.
Yeah.
At the time, I would say 90% happy to be out, 10% sad that I was leaving. But now I would never go back, obviously. I mean?
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Well, Mino was talking about, the people that kind of hang around. And I went, I'm from a small town. I'm from a country, kind of rural area. And so, like, I would not go to high school dances because if you like the first time I went to a high school dance, like I would think it's homecoming. Maybe it was the first dance as a freshman that I would have gone to. The adults in town came to our dance, and the way the gymnasium was set up, the bleachers were elevated, so the bleachers were way higher than the gym, and then there was a balcony where like the band would be or things like that, and they were very elevated, and adults would just kind of hang around and take pictures and watch kids dance, and that freaked me out, and like that's not healthy. And so there was a lot of people that like lived high school and never left the hometown. And then college, like I knew the people in college who they didn't go to my damn school, but they hung around because they, used to go and they never left and they're still living their college. And those are sad people. Those are that's always a sad person. Like that's
are you
not
talking
a good person.
about the people who like
on Facebook who are still the fuck there?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, the people who like quit Defo but keep hanging out and chatting in Defo servers.
Damn.
Not specifically.
I can name a dozen of them right now, honestly. Like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Well,
move on.
no, but I mean, to be fair to that specific point. To be fair to that specific point. I mean, I know you're being an ass right now, but and is it healthy? No, go find something else. But you become part of a community, and it's hard to disengage with one community unless you found another community, right? And so I get it. Like I understand that's part of human nature. Like when Pierre and I did the podcast before, we built up a community, not nearly as big as the one we have now, but it was hard to say goodbye. When I was in groups and raided and did things with other games where we were ranked, you had a really, tight kind of group. You got together, you chatted, and then, the game ends and that kind of group disperses. For me, I'm okay with that because I grew up moving around. I grew up having to make new friends. I'm used to relationships changing in and out and everything, saying goodbye. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me at all. I'm just used to it, and I've adapted to it and become very good at getting in and out of communities, building communities wherever I go. That's not a problem for me, but I'm super extroverted. I have a lot of experience in it, a lot of skill in it. A lot of people aren't, and so it's very challenging. So when they find a community that's like, this is a community where I feel valued, I feel like people are listening to me, people care about me, and now I have to leave that community, like I don't want to. And so I'm going to keep playing the game because I hate it, or I'm going to stick around the college. Like with high school and college, it gets creepy because it becomes there's like legal problems. And we had that. Like I could tell you stories about that in college where legal problems and, assault and like those people need to leave, like that, the bad parts of that. We've said this all along when it comes to the game. Like if you hate playing the game, it's okay to drop it. And sure, you can still hang out in the community, but at the end of the day, right, when the community is based around the game, it becomes hard to be interested in the community. And that's fair. And so, find something else and be okay. Is it better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all, or something like that? What's that? I don't know.
Sounds right.
But with Defo.
But with Defo.
I hate those people that.
Yeah, I get
your their hometown.
Yeah, I get your point, Mark, but I don't personally agree with it. It's definitely.
I wasn't making a point. I was just saying I understand. Like I have a little bit of compassion for the people that might find it hard to walk away. Now, unfortunately, which is I think your problem and all of our problem, sometimes those people become very toxic and destructive, and and not helpful, right? And that can be problematic. We've seen that certainly.
I think it's just a terrible mindset to have. Like you said, the way you explained it, fine, I understand it. Just like I understand a supervillain origin story, doesn't mean I think it's right. Because like it's this kind. I see this stuff in real life too, where Like, this is why some people never promote or move their station or do whatever, because they'd rather have the familiarity than start over again, right? Like, I feel like it's, to say bluntly, a weakness to be resistant to change and starting over. Like, you're talking about, yeah, some people will find a community, try to cling to it. Like you, like you, it's natural to move on. It's natural to find new groups. If your identity is that tied up into one activity or one group, that's not healthy. Those are the people who succumb to peer pressure and do crazy cult shit. Like, have enough of a fucking individuality to not be tied to what a group of singular group of people think, or define yourself by one activity. Rest on your laurels. Be like, this is my one achievement. I'm never going to achieve anything again. That's the peaking in high school, peaking in college shit. Like Nidre was saying, there's some people who are like, oh, I'm so afraid to leave college because then I have to like pay bills and do things and have expectations.
Well, that's fair. All that stuff kind of sucks.
I mean, I don't want to be like, a self-help person or anything like that. But if you think that like a past period in your life is better than your current period in your life, you need to change your situation. You need to work on that.
Yeah, good players have a better life than they did previously.
That's right. Real players best. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I try to live my life, right? Like this is the
Don't look back on
the current time is the and that doesn't mean there's not things that happen that suck, but you move through them.
It's cool to reminisce, but your current living should be better than
these are the awful people who like get old and always talk about the good old days and say how everything
right. Yeah, and
now.
I mean, even though we were talking about that because that was the question, like I don't know, like Mino has sat in on us playing Final Fantasy 14. I mean, we don't sit and talk about. Like every once in a while something will come up, but very rarely do we like reminisce about college every week, right? Like
I hate talking about college.
Like I'm not even sure that's ever come up in any of the times you've been with us.
It was cool stuff, but I mean the past is the past. Like
the past, the past.
Yeah,
nostalgia is good for a quick visit, but when you fucking live there,
we have Final
thinking
Fantasy
about my
14
college
stories
degeneracy. That's fun, but I'm that's not who I am. Well, I'm not gonna say that's not who I am now because sometimes I'm like, damn, that was fun. But I mean, you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. Yeah, it's weird saying that. I'm not young. Ew. Gross.
Oh, okay. So even worse than the nostalgia boomers are these kids who keep saying I'm old now. That's the fucking worst. This right here.
Well, I mean that's every person that's young. They think they're older than they are.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's just the experience, and it's easier for us to look back and say, "Ha, all these stupid kids being stupid and kiddish," but we were also just as dumb.
I was
I know I
taking a
certainly
shot
was.
at you, but it worked out.
Okay. I mean, I'll call myself dumb constantly. It's how you keep yourself tethered to reality. You constantly remind yourself that it's very easy to feel confident that you know things, and then a little while later you're like, wow, that was fucking stupid. And no, you're not smart enough to realize you're being stupid. That's the worst state to be in. And I assume that I'm constantly there, which makes it easier for me to admit I'm wrong.
Dog, where's that shit? You owe an apology video. I forgot what it was for already, but I know you owe one.
Apologize for these nuts. How about that? Fuck you.
Damn, these same people. Now Mark's got me feeling a little fucking violent. Like, these same people are the ones that like don't improve on anything. It's if the results are the same, who cares how hard it was to get there? Like, they're like, 0 turns aren't important. If I take
Some of the
70
best
turns and I
advice
get
I
there,
ever
it's the same fucking
received
thing.
in life is you can't save everyone. Gotta let go.
Yeah, I think Mark said that before too. Pastor.
Well, it's true.
It's
The
better
airplane metaphor.
to treat people on Discord as like NPCs that either they're your allies or your enemies, If they're your enemies, you just gotta block them, man. You just gotta get rid of that shit.
That's how. No. Yeah, I do treat a lot of people on Discord like I treat NPCs in Final Fantasy 14. I skip their dialogue.
I mean, there's just, if you knock one guy down, you don't want to see them anymore, you block them, there'll just be like 2 or 3 more. You can't be trying to like save these people, make them better, try to teach them about Kurosame call, like none of that, right? Like doesn't it's just like, it's trying to drink the ocean. You can't do it. There's always more ocean.
Every once in a while there is a breakthrough story, right? Every once in a while you get a breakthrough story and somebody turns around and surprises you. But for the most part, and some people are just trolls and pretend they're not trolls, but they are very good at it. And that person was particularly skilled at it. So, yeah.
Who, me? I'm a good.
I was not referring to. No, I was referring to the person. Nitro,
I also
was
try not to. I'm horrible at this, but I try not to give unsolicited advice anymore because I only try to give people advice when they're willing to listen because it's just the way people think and shit. They're less receptive if they didn't ask.
I just like checking into the GL help when people say, "What team should I bring?" and BC's always there. He's like, "Who did you try?" "Oh, I haven't done it yet." "Go try it." like why are you even here talking about it? That's why I brought it up in the show. Come on.
I can't do it. Like, what went wrong? And then you figure out what went wrong and then fix it. I need a way to do it. Just figure out how you can get there.
Well, I see that with my son. I Dad, because like I said, he's playing the Spider-Man game. He's like, "Dad, can you beat this?" I'm like, "No, try it." He's like, "Dad, you're not helping me." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. Try it, and you will die a couple times, and then you'll get better." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And so he does, right? And he gets his ass kicked, and then he's like, "Oh, well, next time I'll do this," and he gets better. I'm like, "That's how you get better. That's how I'm helping you. I'm letting you learn how to play the game. If I play the game for you, you're just watching a movie, and you can do that. If you want to watch a movie, go turn on a movie. But if you want to learn how to play the game, you're going to have to lose."
I think I was telling Deidre this earlier, but I haven't done the recent JP fight because I'm just getting my ass beat. Because I do not know how to play the game if I'm not doing Titus, Kane, Cam. I realized I haven't adjusted to the force area at all. And at first I was like, I don't feel like playing. But I've tried the ulti fight like 10 times, and I'm starting to figure it out. So that I can. It's just.
Yeah,
people see the end result.
I probably had, if you count like total resets, like resetting for turn order too, in T10 I probably had 100 to 150 resets, I think, before I got the fight the way that I wanted it to go. So like sometimes you just take an L like over and over again. You just keep going.
At what point does a game ask too much of its players?
Good question. Great question.
Which fight is this?
T10 is Charlotta BT.
Oh, okay.
It's coming. It's
the fight I'm talking about is just the save and FR fight.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't take you 100 tries to beat it. I'm sure. So
yeah, I've been just half at. Usually that's what I've been doing in JP anyways. I've just been like kind of derping through the fights to get a feel for it, then like doing a good recorded one. But this one's giving me some more trouble.
Yeah,
not really hard, but yeah. I kind of want to see if I can do it. I don't want to get in a situation where when I can't run Cam and I don't know what to do, and I am clearly at that point because I have not developed the skills to manage my force time. So I'm glad I'm nipping that in the bud right now. It's taking me longer to figure it out.
How many forces did you use in the part 1 fight? 1?
You mean the one where Luna Frey got her BT?
Yeah.
Oh, I cammed that shit.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because I said I thought this entire cycle was going to be sleeps, but I actually got all the FRs and blew them all. So I came out in the opposite position than I thought I would be. Luna, you were right. Luna Frey is fun.
Luna Frey is what?
She got some good stuff. She's fun.
Yeah, she is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Look forward to that. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Setting
CL,
my
folks.
gems aside now.
Yeah, I'm
legitimately
definitely
fun
saving for Lunafreya. My favorite
Sure, why not?
person.
Blonde
She's
Yuna.
my favorite. She's my favorite.
Blonde Yuna.
Yeah, let me delete my tweets.
She
real
is
quick.
blonde Yuna. Yeah, that's pretty.
I can't even tell the difference between her and Yuna, honestly.
Yuna has more dialogue.
Unifreya.
Watch your mouth.
Barely.
Yuna has 2 games. I guess technically there's like several Final Fantasy 15 mobile games, so maybe Lunafreya does have more games technically. So, although Yuna's in mobile games, so well, Unifreya.
Unifreya. Holy shit.
Unifreya.
That's it. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have definitely played a game with Lunafreya, Aranea, Iris, and Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all would have.
Don't know why they didn't go.
Don't forget John the Bot, Nayo.
I don't think they could have
Yeah, the bot.
You liked my Nayo mention, huh?
Shut up.
You liked that the other day.
Yeah.
I'm bringing her
Bro.
back. Nayo's coming.
Please do. She's better than John the Bot, bro. She's the real MVP. She is just Tifa with glasses, and I'm here for it.
I think they never made a 15-2 because could you imagine an all-girl cast on a road trip driving?
I love it. What are you talking about?
Oh,
And?
okay, never mind.
Oh, there was a joke there.
No,
I thought you were gonna go for it.
nah.
All right.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just saying.
Because you made the joke last week.
What did I say last week?
The movie theater joke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That wasn't a.
What's that? So funny.
That was social commentary.
That was a deep introspective.
That's like saying political cartoons are supposed to be funny. You missed the point.
Mino is our Voltaire. That's what we're learning.
Oh man. Oh, wasn't a joke. Beautiful.
Stop.
God, that's so. These are some of your funniest lines.
Low hanging
I
fruit.
mean
Don't applaud this.
Don't
it's
encourage
great.
him.
This is low hanging fruit.
You can't be the best line of today though, because the best line of today is you need a therapist. That's the best line of today.
Oh.
I don't get it. Why was that so funny?
Oh, just because it was so
If you're that crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was like pure violence.
Who said that?
It's like the person, my boy Duncan.
My boy Duncan.
Yeah, dunked for sure. Poor guy.
That was
What
funny.
happened?
Oh yeah, didn't he ask a question we should be answering? Where is that? Is that in the podcast question?
God, I answered it seriously. I said go lift weights.
Where is it? Hold on. Where's that question?
I don't.
Did you delete it?
I deleted all the questions. I thought we answered them all.
Ah. Where is it? Come on, guys. I was fucking pinged on this shit. Where is it? Too good of a gem to see. Did all the text get deleted? This was it.
I don't know.
Pings, lots of.
So all I heard was that current JP is super hard, and you better save all your resources because it will kick your ass, and you'll have to reset 150 times, and you'll play it, and you'll cry, and there will be crying and weeping and gnashing of teeth, and GL will finally GL will get its ass handed to it, and we'll suffer.
There doesn't seem like to be a lot of like panic. I mean, a lot of the people who would generally be loud about these things aren't being loud. So
Are they just not playing
If
anymore?
anything, like
Yeah, they've all they've all
or
quit.
the wells that are not being poisoned. I mean, I just kind of allude to things, but I've been like Titus scamming through everything, so I I'm curious how it's going to be received when it gets to global. I mean, people aren't the only thing people are really like hyping up is
Hey,
Teach
thank you,
10.
Eamon, for providing. That's another point in your corner. Eamon sent me the screenshot. Okay, size and asterisks. So there is a girl I like at my college, and I have no idea how to approach her. At the same time, I feel like she likes my friend, who is subsequently is terrified of girls. I don't think that's used right. So I don't know what to do. I guess that's the question, Mark.
This was a question in podcast questions?
Yeah. Who deleted that? It was fucking in there.
I did not delete that, but
You check the mod action logs. See.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. What should I do? Wait, so she's interested in the guy who doesn't like girls?
Here, I sent
Theoretically,
Read it again.
we don't know this for
No,
sure.
no, Mark,
but
you read it. I'm tired of reading this. Here, I sent you the link. Here, Mark, you read it.
Okay. So there's a girl I like at college, and I have no idea how to approach her. Okay, that's a good question. At the same time, I feel like she likes my friend, who subsequently is terrified of girls. I believe that is correct use of that word. So I don't know what to do. Well, internet friend, if you're listening, here's what you do. You have a conversation with your friend, and you're like, hey, I think this girl likes you. What do you think? And your friend's like, I'm terrified of girls. I don't want anything to do with them. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go talk to her. Hey, my friend doesn't like you. Would you like me? And then you go invite her back to Smash. And then you play Smash Brothers, because that's what the kids do, right?
Yes, it is. And then tell her to leave.
All right. So Mark is self-admittedly from a small town in the middle of nowhere. He's a simple country boy, so I understand that simple country boy advice. I don't like. He's a little out of touch. In this situation,
that's totally fair.
I would set up a Cyrano de Bergerac situation.
Yeah, no, I think that's
where
wait, rewind. A what?
Yeah,
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's that?
I'm with you.
God damn, you're uncultured.
I'm Googling this right now.
God damn, you guys are fucking uneducated.
How do you spell that?
Wasn't
Is that French?
Who wasn't what's his name? One of the three amigos. Wasn't he in a film version of that?
Cyrano de Bergerac. I thought you said Serp Note de Bergerac.
Yeah, okay, right. That's what you heard. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure that's what you fucking heard.
it.
You guys are fucking uncultured as shit. I
still don't
thought
know
you
what it
guys
is.
went to college. You guys drank your learning years away.
Oh,
Anyways,
you.
you pull a Cyrano de Bergerac situation where you use your friend as the face.
Yep.
And then you feed him lines and catfish this girl. Wait, they made a movie about this year. It's called Love Hard. Right.
Oh, yeah.
On Netflix, the Netflix original Love Hard, where catfishing is romantic, right? I mean, like, you said this girl's into Twilight anyways. This is probably right up her alley. And so...
Oh, there was more to the conversation? Wow. Like which Twilight? Like the vampire Twilight or the S&M Twilight? Because those are two different Twilights.
Deidre, you fill him in, Deidre. No. I
It
can't.
was
I
Vampire
fill 'em in.
Twilight.
Okay.
It was Vampire Twilight, which was concerning for me. Twilight was popular like a decade ago.
It was
So being in the Twilight now is a little weird.
Yeah, that does seem weird.
Okay, so the actual story behind this is there's this guy named Donut who has been in the TCC Discord for the past couple days, but he isn't anymore.
He is
And-
not anymore. Yeah, okay.
And the reason he is not anymore is because he asked this question that Mino said was in podcast questions, except he asked it in the general chat. Now, in his defense, which there's not much defending, but in his defense, he asked before he posted this, can I post an off-topic question? Somebody said, sure. Because, it's not, we like to have fun in our general chat, right? Like, it's not like, the gulag of where you have to talk about who you think is going to be on the banner in 3 days or you get banned, right? That's not how it works. But there's a line somewhere between, how does Shiva impact your speed passives and give me dating advice. There's a line somewhere in there, and you shouldn't cross it.
So this I have not read back. This conversation got it went downhill from there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That is in a nutshell, I would say. Yeah, that's.
I think to give you a general hint, like 10 minutes from there, it went. BC I think said, "Why don't you talk to her?" And he said, "Because she ignores me whenever I talk to her." And then he said, "But I did manage to have a conversation with her recently, a full one." And then I think BC said, "You should, if she's ignoring you on a normal basis, she's probably not into you. You should probably, stop because you might be forcing her into conversations because, you're scaring her." And he said, "Good."
Is that what happened?
I don't know.
Paraphrased. I don't think that's
I think he
No,
has to search back.
Mino likes to paraphrase, right?
Whoa!
But
How dare you
it's
accuse
not-
me of such a thing? How
it's
fucking
not.
dare
He's
you?
not wrong in this case. It's not
I don't
like
think that's what it
It's like-
it's a paraphrasing.
It's like art. It's depending on what angle you look at the thing. It's not wrong, but
is.
but go ahead, Nidra. Finish what you're gonna say.
No, I mean I'm just looking through the chat logs here. This is I've seen again. I've only been in this community for not a long time, right? Like I've been in this community for 2 years now. I'm not a day one player, by the way. I've seen in Discord. I've seen some very memorable flameouts, memorable situations of people getting banned. But this was a special one, asking for personal dating advice and coming out really creepy. And Mino got a lot of barbs thrown his way too, if I recall. This is one of those. And maybe no more needs to be said. I don't know.
Yeah, Mark, stop trying to dig up the past.
I'm reading it right now. I don't think you helped the conversation. That's for
I
sure.
certainly didn't.
Yeah,
Whenever I see a fucking, like a fire, I just gotta douse some oil on it. Just gas it up.
Yeah, that is probably a decent description of what Mino and BC have done in this conversation.
Oh yeah,
But-
BC's a huge gaslighter.
But it was funny, so there is. I guess that's the defense, right?
See, I think like if you take someone like Inkwelder likes to help people, or he always tries to say we need to think of the newbie and we need to consider these people. When he sees someone struggling, he'll try to help. And then Blart too. Blart used to. He learned better now. And me, I will see a hopeless case and say, how can I make this person? How can I make an example out of it? So other people will learn. The people who are willing to learn.
Wow.
Because this guy's not getting.
Yeah, I told him to lift weights.
That helps. Yeah, I will say this when it comes to dating advice. In my experience, if someone is interested in you, they will be interested in you and you will know it. if
Yeah.
you have a conversation with them.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, people will often ask, what do you like the most in a partner? And my first answer is always that they're interested in me. That would be number one. So just find
Wow.
that. Sorry if you're a big neat and you can't find anybody who loves you, but just
a
keep
gem.
trying. I guess I don't know. Keep trying.
It's a gem.
Pretty
Learn how to
much.
talk.
I think it's good to assume that most girls are playing hard to get because it's all about the
No.
chase, right? So you should just go in and assume
No,
that.
you should
and work
assume
off of that.
you're incredibly unattractive and work on improving.
Yeah,
that.
yeah, every relationship that I've had that's existed for any long period of time has been someone pursuing me, not me pursuing someone else. And
Yeah, big pimping.
that tends to work better. like if someone pursues you and you're like, oh, this person seems okay, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then that works.
Exercising options.
Yeah, exercising my options. I am no longer exercising my options. That stopped quite a few years ago. And I'm okay with that. Because there's at some point when you don't want to lift weights anymore. No, I'm joking. You should always lift weights. My 80-year-old parents lift weights. It's healthy. Weight training is exceptionally important. But you certainly don't have any desire to search in these troubled times. And all of you who are in the dating pool,
Yeah, it sounds hard. Hard.
Especially like right now during the pandemic. That's
exactly.
tragic.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not great.
People going insane.
And I can tell you from my college days, we had a lot of weirdos in our group, but everybody needs somebody to love, and you'd be surprised what weirdo will love you. So just be open.
To throw more advanced tactics of it, there's the proximity rule, where if you just hang around somebody enough and you're like always there, they'll like default, right? Like if you are if you're like trying to get with someone at a bar or a party and you're just always within eye shot, and at the end of the party or when the bar is closing and everyone's like going out and the options are diminishing, like you're always there, right? It's like why use the new unit when you have Edaroth, right? Like the most convenient.
That was a horrible comparison. But that is a real thing though.
Yeah, people always choose the path of least resistance, and romance is no different. All right, you're all lazy pieces of shit who just want to hit a button and collect rewards. Just be that. For somebody else.
So first time chatter on the dating hour. What we call this love line. This is a TCC love line with BC, Nitre, Mino, and Mark. Eamon, young Eamon's asking, when will you know if you are ready to date? Well, that's a great question, Eamon, and I'm glad we can answer that. You're probably not ready yet. You're probably not ready yet if you have to ask. I think you'll know in your heart of hearts when you're ready. I think the easiest way to know is when you go on a date with someone and, like if someone says, hey, would you like to go on a date with me? And you're like, yeah. And then you go on a date. And it might suck, but that's okay. It's again, it's be awful. It's going to be terrible. But it's like playing Spider-Man, right? You're going to have to lose a few times to learn to learn how to do it.
You lose spectacularly. Dear God.
Yeah,
and just
Mark's right. Like like everything else, it takes practice, right? You're not going to get it right the first time. So line up some like practice girls. Like girls that are like way below your standard, and like you don't want these people at all, and just like you don't lose anything if you fail.
Speed dating. Oh yeah, speed dating. That's good.
I did all the speed dating in college.
Yeah, speed dating's good. Yeah,
I think I got laid off of all the speed dating actually. Yeah. No, it did work out, didn't it? But I made the huge because I have a fake tooth, and I made the mistake of showing it off to a girl. I'm like, look, I don't have a tooth. And then I heard from one of her friends that she like was immediately turned off after this. I'm like, all right, that's a thing that you don't do. Don't do that. That's dumb.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't ask them if they're on their period on the day during the night of the date. I've made that mistake too, right? Like some things, like it's like
why would you bring that up?
Like we're rating like okay, I'm gonna bring up FF14.
FF14 counts.
I'm saying like
6, damn.
like these raid mechanics sometimes are complicated and people are like, look, sometimes you just gotta see it, right? Like you could never understand this just by studying graphs. You gotta experience it, and that is one of those things, right? Like you'll be like, hey, you can't say, hey, do you have any protection on you 15 minutes into the date because you forgot, right? Like you can't make those types of assumptions. And you can't ask. Here's another thing I had to learn on experience. Do you live alone is not as innocent as it sounds in your head, right?
Does anyone know where you are tonight?
Oh
like
God.
like you know like when you're young and you're like living with roommates and stuff, like it seems like a pretty innocuous situation. You're like, hey, do you live alone? Like, how are you getting home tonight? Right? You know, like is there a gate around your property? These are things that sound okay to you, but in a greater context they're probably not. It's understandable if people jump to the wrong conclusion, right?
Don't like have like social experiments on people. Like, I remember I had a whole gag with everybody I knew during my first year of college where I just lied about my birthday for no real reason. I just knocked like 10 days off just to see what would happen. I don't know why I did this. I'm trying to. I still to this day don't know why I did it. People got pissed at me like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. just stupidity.
Don't keep buying drinks for her and not yourself. You know, that seems really suspicious too. Apparently, I guess. I don't know how, you know, like I don't understand how women think. They make movies about that, right? Like what women want. Like we can never truly understand how their minds work. So, you know, I'm just telling you these are things you shouldn't do. I've learned from experience.
And don't chase. Don't be thirsty. Just be confident in yourself that you're gonna. That's the worst thing you can do is be needy.
Don't be needy.
Don't put your FF14 parses as one of your profile pictures on OkCupid.
Don't call women queens and like my lady and stuff. I know the weebs out there sometimes get a little overboard.
Don't reveal your nerd power levels until you either have enough money to where it doesn't matter, or you can confirm that they're into it as well.
And let me say this for all of you. I mean, because there's a lot of geeks and nerds and weebs and misfits out here in our community. Like you don't need to date or be in a relationship or even marry someone who plays Defo. Like that's okay. Like
that's actually a horrible idea because they're more likely to be crazy.
Yeah, because I have, you know, I dated within my college group, and I've been with people who are big into a lot of very similar things that I am into. It's not always what it's cracked up to be. And so yeah, you find things that you like, but you each have your own interests, and that's more than okay. The fact that my wife
ask them how fast they can run.
I need like a top 10 meals. Don't do this.
Yeah, like that's
this is getting funnier and funnier.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, essential oils are great. They're expensive though. Make sure she has a job. That was my early dating idea was like date a woman who has a car, because then she can take you places.
Oh yeah, I did that.
So that's helpful.
Great.
Why would you ask that? Why? Oh, if they're interested in essential oils, I don't know, because you know,
run away.
You know they're in a cult if they are.
Run away. Same when they talk about horoscopes.
Oh well, no, that's what's your if what's your horoscope is on the first date, that is definitely that's a red flag.
That's actually a real thing. That's not even funny joke.
That's
like
not
that
even
happens.
funny.
That just happens.
I mean, I'm into that. I mean, if you're into that, then fine. But like, If somebody said that on a first date with me, I might be heading for the door.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure out what your birthday is so they can scam you.
That's such a
That's when you
Scorpio
lie to
thing to
them.
say.
That's when you lie to them. It works every time.
Ask if she's into NFTs. What's your opinion on NFTs?
I mean, I'm surprised that Mino hasn't run into that, given that like half the people in LA are in astrology.
No, I run into that all the fucking time. That's what I'm saying.
I
It's
was
not
going to say
even funny.
counterpoint. He does.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not funny because that's real. Like I thought we were just fucking around. That's a real dating horror story. Same, and then right up there is the Myers-Briggs test, where women hold Myers-Briggs test just as it do
modern day astrology.
No,
that is modern day astrology.
It's Enneagram. It's Enneagram with millennials and Zoomers. It's not Myers-Briggs.
It's a bunch
No,
of
but Myers-Briggs, I've legit had like people say like, "Oh, what is your Myers-Briggs?" and this is a deal breaker. And then I'd be like, aren't those studies like not real? And this is like I think so, like a year one psych major saying, no, I'm a psych major. I know they're like legit. And I was like,
if you self-identify as a psych major, then that's also
that's a red flag too. Holy shit!
As a psych major, I can tell you that's fair.
Yeah, deuces.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
As a psych major, we're talking about as a day one player. As a blank major, look, just because you spent years studying it doesn't mean you're good at it. I'm tired of people bringing that up. I'm tired of people bringing that up. As somebody who works in the game industry as a QA tester, get the fuck out of here.
No, to be fair, you know who's good at psychology? No one, because we literally our instruments when it comes to brain technology is like Galileo style. Like that's where we are in our development of technology for understanding the brain. So. We got a long way to go. That's what I learned in 4 years of psychology is that, we don't know jack shit about what our brains are doing. So we do know more than we used to with brain scan imagery, but we still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Man. I think the best advice I can give people when it comes to relationships is be confident in who you are as a person. Like, be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable being by yourself. Be comfortable being single. And then, find somebody who you are comfortable being with together. And then be okay. What questions should you ask? What should you not ask on a first date?
My biggest thing, I think, in getting in a relationship, but especially staying in one, is it's like a real big cliche to say that like communication is key, but communication is key. And anytime that you have like a breakdown in communication, instead of saying, oh, it's the other person's fault, just realize it takes two people to communicate and try to figure out where you could improve. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as someone who does premarital counseling, and has worked in that field for a while. Communication is very important. Yeah, if you're going to get married to somebody, and I don't necessarily recommend it, just in general as an institution, but if you're going to get married to somebody, or even be in a long-term relationship, move in with somebody, etc., have kids with somebody, you need to talk about things like, how do you communicate? What was your family of origin like? How do you want to parent? How do you deal with finances? What's your financial situation? What are your expectations? What are your expectations in sex? What's your, again, those are not first date questions, but those are like, okay, we're serious. I can't even tell you how many couples I have done work with before their marriage who have talked about nothing about their lives, their futures, their situations, just like zero understanding. We're in love. Well, great. Then fuck and go to Disney World. Like saying you're going to live the rest of your lives together and have kids and buy a house and get a car, hold off on some of the stuff till you actually have some conversations about some things. People don't, it's just so important there would be no WB shows if people talk to each other, because all of that WB bullshit TV shows are just because people don't know how to communicate.
That's the infuriating part. And then when I was, why didn't you say that? Oh, true. Yikes.
And if you're with a person who can't communicate and who's not willing to, then it's probably good time to say goodbye.
Yeah. Deuces.
Yeah.
Or if they hold you responsible for not knowing what they were thinking when they made no effort to communicate it. I mean,
That's
pretty
real too. That's pretty real too.
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean, sometimes they don't say anything, and it's your fault for not asking. I mean, there's a line to be drawn. I've had that before. I had to break up with a girl just because she was mad at me for she was like ranting at her roommate or something for being late to something. I'm like, what if she like got in a car accident or something? She's like, why are you trying to silence me? I'm like, whoa, hold on. Some people just take things differently, and sometimes you just got to get out.
Well, much like the Apostle Paul said, be single. It's the best. So
yeah, don't get tethered down.
Don't get tethered.
The trap.
Don't get tethered down.
The trap.
No, there's, I joke about marriage. I have a very high view of marriage, and I get pissed.
Of course, that's like half your pay.
That's not at all. It's a lot of investment and not a lot of money for doing weddings. I would if I could. My wife will tell you, if I could not do another wedding in my entire ministry, I would probably be okay.
Can you not refuse them?
Oh, I can. Yeah, no, I can. I
There
don't
you
have
go.
to do weddings, but I generally do because I care about people, and I'm better than a lot of people, so I might as well help out where I can.
There you go. That's the mindset.
Yeah. So, seriously, if you give people a fighting chance if they, come into the best. But yeah, so regardless, I have a pretty high view of marriage, but marriage is really hard. And it takes a lot of work to really want to be around somebody all the time, right? And so, I mean, that's the joke. It takes hard work to be in a committed relationship. It takes hard work to have kids because they're all around all the time. And it can be super, super rewarding and super wonderful. And it is, in my case. I mean, I love my wife to death, and I love my family, my kids, and I look forward to spending time, every moment I have with them. That I can, but that's not like, oh, it's just, we love each other, let's get married, everything's going to be perfect. No, it takes a lot of work, just like anything else. Just like Defoe. And it's not just time, as we were talking about earlier. You can't just expect to I've been with those people. Yeah, well, we've been married for 50 years. Well, you hate each other. You don't live in the same house. You haven't seen or touched each other in 10 years. But we're married, we're still together. Like that, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping your kids. You yell at each other every 5 seconds. You can't stand each other. So it goes. So, yeah.
I mean, you kind of have a point, but I also think if your relationship is on the rocks, trapping someone with a baby is like them giving, you getting a free BT on a free draw, right? And then you have to go back for the LD. How many people are going to resist going back for the LD? So you throw a baby in the mix, most people are probably going to stay. Sunk cost fallacy, right?
Get that analogy? Okay, that was a long.
Who was talking about trapping people with a baby?
That's not even sunk cost, is it? It's just.
I don't know. Hey, can you not poke holes in this shit? I don't do this to you. I don't come on the fucking ranting hour and poke holes into your rants. All right, I let you have your
rants.
rants.
The fuck you do.
I back you up. I have your back.
Whatever. Just.
That's the funniest thing you have
That
said
was
tonight.
all over the place.
See, this is another marriage lesson. You have to present a united front. Otherwise, the whole thing just goes to shit.
Well, that's like parenting. It's parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't let the children see weakness because they can sense weakness and fear, and they will attack. Yeah, they will attack.
That was menacing.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't. Again, I love my children. I wouldn't necessarily suggest anybody have kids. I'd be like, oh man, I can't. I don't like the people that would be like, oh man, you gotta get married, you gotta have kids. I know the Roman Catholic Church has been big on that for a long time. You gotta get married. No, like you don't. Like no, you know people who I know who are super happy. People who don't have kids. Like, do you know some of those people who are like, 70 years old and never had kids, and they've spent their lives traveling the world and doing great things and eating great food, and they're happy. Like, and you can be happy like that, right? Having children does not make you more happy. It can bring you a lot of joy. It gives you purpose, and can be very rewarding. But you don't need kids. You don't need a significant other, It's nice. Yeah. It's nice to have somebody to make fun of other people with, and
Just do it on Discord.
Yeah. You can just come on Discord. You don't need a wife. You have the Crystal Chronicles podcast. I think that's the final. You'll never love anyone as much as you'll love us at the Crystal Chronicles. No, final ASIM. That's a whole theological question that you're throwing out there. I love my wife a hell of a lot more than I love my kids. That's for sure. But that's a whole different conversation.
Okay, I'm going to sleep. I should have gone to sleep like a half hour ago.
I'm gonna go to sleep too. Everybody else who's watching.
Why do I always go in?
Yes, Twitter bio, married to the TCC podcast. My church says that's a sin. To be married to the podcast?
No false idols.
Yeah, no false idols. Oh, God, no. It would be really good for the earth if no one had kids. It would actually help the earth quite a bit. I cannot. Yeah, that's for me, that's way too dangerous to say I love my kids more than my wife. Yeah, more than my parents, sure, because I'm responsible for them. I'm responsible for my parents too, but no, because I can't. If your love, even for me, I'm like, spiritually speaking, my love is outside of that, because if it becomes if my love or adoration becomes connected to any one person, that one person will fail, and things will start to break down, and it will become less than, right? And so, for me, this is a much, much deeper conversation that we can't have at 11:30 at night my time.
Yeah, I gotta start bouncing. Well, this is a really long ass post show.
But yeah, I do appreciate it. We can talk about that later sometime, because I do think you can expect too much of your children. You can expect too much of your significant other, and that becomes dangerous. It becomes toxic, and you do have to be careful. So be careful. But I do love all of you, and have a great night.